here. It's big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real-action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hansen, and I'm joined by David Tuckman. David, we are going to be doing an old friend on the show, a Limit Hold'em game.
No way.
It seemed like there had been a lot of discussion out there in internet land about how we need to put more Limit Hold'em on. So
I didn't know it existed anymore.
Yes. It's kind of no limit to bitch, isn't it, these days? We're going to do an 8-16 game, Dave, which is, I mean, not really big. I don't know if you would consider it mid-limit, but it's still a pretty good size game.
Kind of smaller mid-limit, I suppose.
Yeah, smaller mid-limit. Yeah. And it's the biggest game that I think that we can successfully get on here right now, so that's the one that we're going to do. So without further ado, let's get to the action. See, look at this pot right here, Dave, already. Anyway, we come in here, and there's a pile of chips in the middle.
Well, that's the nature
on the
of
side.
Yeah, 8-16, it's a 4-8 structure.
Right.
Because the chips are $2 chips, and it's a 4-8 structure game, and there's always a lot of chips.
Right, it's just like any 20. And look at that pot. Well, let's go around and introduce the table.
Let's do that. In seat 1, we've got, there's a familiar face. Usually plays the no-limit game, the $200 or 3-5 no-limit game. That's Alan Lai. Seat 2, we've got Owen Francis. Munching away there. Look at him. He's chomping away. Seat 3, we've got Harold Berger.
Like a hamburger?
Or, yeah, I suppose that's a decent way to say it. Seat 4, we've got Rudy Meza. There we go. Rudy, Notre Dame. Notre Dame having one hell of a year, huh?
Yep. Charlie Weiss.
Mr. Wu in seat 5. Now, speaking of Wu or Whoopi, how did your date go on Friday night?
What's that?
No, we'll get to that in a second. Seat 6, we've got Jack Wesh. Actually, not Jack Welsh. He's definitely not the CEO of GE here. That's Jack Wesh. Seat 7, we've got Marco Parian. Don't know much about Marco. Seat 8, we've got just Scott. We have no last name for him, but if you can come up with a last name, feel free to email us at liveatthebike.com with whatever his last name might be.
2 players.
And seat 9, we've got Ferdinand Afshar.
Faradon.
Okay. Either way.
Faradon's actually one of the people, floor man here at the Bike. You work plays in the spare time. And we're going to get into the first hand of the night here. So this is 8-16, Dave. Looks like
do you play this game at all? I mean, once in a while
I
you
never really get a chance to play this game. A lot of people play the game for the jackpot, reasons of it. Again, I find it pretty difficult, Dave. Look at this. Marco's going to value bet the river with ace queen there. Why not? I mean, the board's paired. You can't. I guess maybe you
and
could
Rudy
lose to
pays
queen jack. Rudy's going to call him all the way down with ace 7.
Queens and 4.
Wow.
Yep.
That's not a call Charlie Weiss would be proud of.
No. Ace 7. Well, you're going to see a lot of players playing weak aces in this game, Dave. You're going to see a lot of calling when players shouldn't call.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think this game is much different than... Now, in our casino, at the Bicycle Casino, basically we have this game, and then it jumps right up to 20-40.
That's right.
And then 30-60, which is our consistent higher games.
Right.
And if you want to get even higher than that, we have 61-20 occasionally. And I guess I played this game a lot as I was moving up limits. But I don't think the 20 game is much different than this game.
I think that there actually are more people in pre-flop in this game, though.
A little bit, maybe.
Yeah,
one more
but
player.
I mean, especially like on a weekend night, you're right. The 20 plays like a lot like this game.
Like an 8 game, yeah.
Now, if you want to follow a live thread that started on the internet, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, World Poker Tour, and other televised tournaments. The official Live at the Bike thread. For November 7th, you can also email us at live@thebike.com. So I think that this pot was limped around here, Dave. Now, seat number 8, or seat number 7, he's going to put his cards there. Well, he's out of there anyways.
Yeah, now I think seat 1 is the best hand here with Jack 10. And he's going to raise another button.
Well,
That's Allen. That's a nice
Yep.
play there.
King 10-3.
Unfortunately for him, actually, Mr. Wu has a king, and he's all in.
Yep. Turns a 9 and the river's a 3.
Tens and trays.
Oh, good. Mr. Wu was good there with kings and threes.
Kings and trays.
Well, you know, if Mr. Wu bet there and he was pretty much all in, Dave, and the guys in between Allen folded, then I love the race with Jack 10. You know, why not?
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
we haven't seen Mr. Wu's play enough
Right.
to know if he's kind of a cagey, tricky guy.
Right.
He doesn't look very cagey or tricky, but looks can be deceiving, right?
Right. That's true. You don't look like much of a poker player when I sit down. You know, when I have you sit down next to me at the table.
But once again, looks can be deceiving, right?
Boy, I kind of just threw that one up for you. Dave.
Right. I got you. Bump. If you're wondering why I'm wearing my Wayne Corbett jersey, it's actually going to go into retirement. Wayne Corbett, this is kind of a tribute to him. Wayne Corbett is a receiver for the New York Jets, and he's probably going to end up retiring.
Well, once again, David, already looks like from the first couple hands we've done tonight, this is a very desirable table, being loose passive, a lot of just limping.
Yeah.
Call.
Well, it's the kind of game where you can really see a lot of hands in late position.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit a flop, just get out.
Yeah. Now, seat number 8 there, Scott, he's going to bet with second pair. And look at all the callers. Although Rudy in seat 4 has the best hand with ace-10. He check called. Turn is a 6. Now, Mr. Wu has a flush draw.
I guess that's what he was staying in there with Queen Deuce, huh?
What was Mr. Wu calling with on the flop for? Scott again bets. Rudy calls, Mr. Wu calls, and the river is a 9.
That's the problem sometimes with calling a flop with Queen Deuce. You go, I'll take one off. And now you take one off, and now you cost you an extra 4 chips.
Well, sometimes what ends up happening, and it actually happened to me a lot, Rudy's going to take this one down, is, you know, if the pot is raised pre-flop, and there's at least, say, 3 or 4 people in there, usually you have odds to call one small bet with any pair, Dave, to try to spike 2 pair or trips if you think that they'll be good on the turn.
Right.
Now, a lot of times you might call there with a pair, and you might also have a backdoor flush draw, and then you pick up the flush draw on the turn, so now you're in again on the turn, and that's where it just costs you money. I'm not saying that you should... I mean, you need to call on the turn also when you pick up the draw. Usually,
if
drawing
the pot's you odds,
are going to give you the correct odds, you know?
Usually.
Yeah,
I see one more often than not, one bad call begets another bad call.
Yeah.
You know, begets a crying call in the river.
Look at it. Seat 7 brought this one in for a raise with 7-10 offsuit. Ace-King offsuit for seat 2. He just called there, Dave. And seat 6 has got Ace-Queen of diamonds in the big blind. So here we go. Marco is the raiser. King 6-4. Pretty good flop for Owen. Now, normally a lot of people are going to 3-bet Dave Ace-King in late position with that hand, but he just chose to call. Gets checked to him. He bets. Now, Jack, if you've got ace-queen, that's not the flop you're looking for in limit or any form
No,
of
there's no
hold'em,
diamond
right?
in the board either.
Yeah.
He was picked up a little bit of a draw here. He needs a jack and a jack only to win this pot.
Right.
Jack needs a jack.
Well, the ace comes on the river, and there you go. I mean, and now he's going to bet the end.
It killed me.
And if you had ace-king here, would you put a raise in? He just calls at the end, Dave.
Give me the money.
I mean, the guy called the flop. He called you on the turn. Then when the ace hit on the river, he bet. Could he might have backed into a straight when he had a flush draw? Do you think
Like
if you
maybe
raised
queen jack of clubs?
Well, the other thing, too, is a lot of guys might just put a move and just bet with the ace. That's an automatic bluff. So if you're going to raise, you're not going to get called anyways.
Right.
But in this case, he would have probably gotten called.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, obviously.
I think that I probably would have raised, thinking that maybe the guy has like ace-6 or ace-4.
Yeah.
And my ace-king wins, you know?
Now, but you have to be... Now, what if the guy re-raises you?
Well,
Is then you put a crying call in there?
yeah, I think you have to put a crying call. I mean,
Do you?
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes it just, a value raise, you don't want to be re-raised. You're putting in a value raise and you don't want to be re-raised, but sometimes the pot is just so big.
Right. I have no problem with the value raise if you can get away. If a player is...
Raise.
If the player is not tricky enough to re-raise you with a mediocre holding,
players.
you can usually throw it away if it's the rebet on the river.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Now, Rudy brought this one in for a raise, and he hit the second pair there.
Raise.
But Marco bet,
Well, he's got top pair.
and Allen raised with bottom pair. And Rudy's going to call.
Now, Allen's been predominantly playing no limit for the last,
Right.
say, 6 months. I'm really curious how his limit game will be affected.
It's not. It got checked around here, Dave, on the turn. The river's jack. It's not that out of the realm of possibility that if you think these two guys have high cards to raise and knock somebody out with a pair there on the flop. I don't know if I would have done with bottom pair.
Right, no,
3-4.
I'm just saying there are cards, like 3-4 spades to me has a lot more value in no limit than it does in a limit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I would, calling raises with suited connectors in this game is usually not going to be the winning strategy, unless you've got 7, 8 people seeing only a double-sized bet all the time. Because then again, you got to think as it gets 3-bet and 4-bet, now you're really losing your odds because you don't want to take those hands.
Yeah, if
before
I'm in
bets.
position and I've got a nice suited connector, and 3 or 4 people are in the pot. Okay, I might take one off. I might see the flop. Right, I might limp in.
Right.
But yeah, I don't want to get stuck in there with calling raises with just suited connectors. I know some people will call me crazy. I just think I from playing this game, and this is my bread and butter, limit hold'em. I know it is you too.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think 5, 6, 6, 7 suited. They just don't have that much value in limit hold'em.
Yeah.
And this is from, I'm talking thousands and thousands of hours of experience.
6 deuce 3 here. Pocket 7s in seat 2. Owen is good right now. He's gonna bet.
All in for 5. One more chip, please.
And Mr. Wu is all in for $5. Or for 5 chips, excuse me. And Marco calls with ace jack. Well, the turn's a 5 here.
Owen's still in the lead here, huh?
Mr. Wu needs to spike a 9. He's all in.
He's all in again, huh?
That's the side pot.
And Marco's going to call with the ace jack, and the river's a 6. And now Marco's going to come out and bet with the ace.
Call. Side pot.
And Owen's going to call here.
6s and
7s.
And 7s are good there, Dave.
That's one of those cases where you can only really call, because the guy's been calling you the whole way.
Yeah.
Well, he might have had a 6.
This guy's been betting the whole way.
Oh, has he? Okay, I thought he was just calling. Okay.
Marco
Owen
had
never raised?
Owen was betting the whole way.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And then Marco came out and bet. Oh, I see what you're saying. Owen could just call at the end.
Yeah, you can't really, because if the guy had, say, 6, 7
Right.
or 8, 6, well, he might have just gotten there.
Come on, it's a jackpot so we can all laugh. I would have laughed when I heard it.
Again, Dave, in exchange for us doing the limit hold'em game
I would have
tonight,
laughed if I heard it. I didn't hear it. I was ordering.
please to preserve my sanity.
5, please.
No Indy Colts, no Patriots updates tonight.
Oh, the Patsies are playing tonight. Oh, I can't wait to get some updates. Man. Woohoo!
Told you, I'm having a TiVo party at my house. A couple of my buddies who don't get to see the game because they're working. We're all going to not hear the results and go watch it on the TiVo. Now, we've got it looked like there was a raise there by Marco. Marco's been playing pretty crazy so far, Dave. He's kind of one of the wild ones.
And did Ferd, did he re-raise?
Faradon re-raised with ace-king. Now, Faradon's going to bet here again. And again, Marco's got second pair, and here we go. At this level, I wouldn't be surprised to see a check call all the way with queen 5. And that's exactly what's happened. And ace-king is going to take it down.
And he shows.
Yeah. I mean, for him to show that, and you turn over queen 5, you know that that's a player that it's going to be one of the live ones.
Yeah.
There we go.
Man.
I mean, second pair weak kicker. I think people, especially when they start playing Hold'em, they don't really understand that. Boy, that can't beat much of anything, can it? I mean, if the guy is betting with second pair and he's raised pre-flop, he probably has ace second pair or maybe king second pair. Like ace, jack, king,
he could have jacks or something.
Right.
But
But
it's funny, a couple of people have asked me, what do you see as the difference between no limit and limit hold'em? And to me, they're like completely different animals.
Raise.
I mean, it's like a totally different game.
absolutely.
Get a raise from Rudy there.
King, queen offsuit. Now, here you go, Dave. Seat 6 is going to call with 8-5 of spades. A common call that we see of recreational loose players, but not really a winning proposition. Queen 3 of diamonds over there for one of the blinds. And king jack for seat 5 is called.
Well, king queen is the best hand right now with the
Ace,
flop.
queen, jack. Mr. Wu is going to bet with king jack. Rudy actually checked because the ace came on board. And Rudy's going to check call here with king queen. Oh, look at that. The turn's a jack.
playing this game?
Mr. Wu hit his
Come on, you want to donate some
hit his
money
two
here?
outer there, Dave.
And this is one of those times if you have king queen, you can't beat an ace and you can't beat a jack.
Yeah. Well, I guess Mr. Wu could have had caught a 10 there for a straight as well. And the river's a 10. Chop this one up. Chop it up. And look at this. I think Rudy's going to check raise here.
Raise.
He's going to check raise. The river is a 10 of clubs.
And that would be a pretty tricky play in no limit if you really check raised a lot. Because,
Right.
you know, it's not the nuts here. There is a paired board.
Right. Wow, and that's the type of move that you can't do with King Queen there, Dave. To 3-bet with just the
All right, you
straight.
Yeah, it was actually Mr. Wu 3-betting it there, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
King-jack.
Oh, King Jack. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just can't do that just with the king, right? Because your straight is not the nuts. I mean, chop this one up, but you can't really 3-bet there, right? I mean,
No, it's amazing
Yeah.
that he did. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of hands. I mean, think about it.
Yeah,
Rudy
he did.
raised before the flop. Couldn't he have ace-jack?
that's true.
I mean,
yeah.
Is it that out of line for him to have ace-jack?
He could have pocket queens also.
Yeah.
Pocket aces, pocket,
Pocket
jacks.
tens.
Yeah. So there you go. And Dave, this game is pretty much the. I used to play a lot of high-low on the internet, but now I tend to play 5-10 Hold'em a little bit more.
Yeah?
Because high-low, it just. I think that when you multi-table high-low, like you had said initially, you tend to miss out. Whereas in Hold'em, I don't think you miss that much when you're multi-tabling. Limit Hold'em.
Yeah, I noticed for myself, I was telling
Yeah.
you, I noticed that when I was playing one table or two tables, I was doing really well in stud high-low.
Yeah.
When I started going 4 tables, I just noticed I wasn't doing that well.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll play 1 or 2 tables. That's
Right,
fine.
right. But again, a flop game is not as important, I don't think.
6 players.
Well, especially when you're playing 5-10 or,
Yeah.
in this case, 8-16 limit Hold'em, you can
Right.
almost play this on autopilot.
Yeah. I think the pot was limped around here again. Queen 3 Jack. And everybody checks.
I'm surprised Alan doesn't take a shot at it there.
Well, turn is an 8. What, Alan just betting in there, Dave? With
Well, I mean,
7,
everybody.
8?
Well, he's got the button.
Yeah.
Everybody checked to me.
But, it just seems like in this game anyone's just going to call with an ace. It's as bad as that,
I get you, man. Yeah.
The river is an 8 here, and Mr. Wu backs into trips. And
Wow.
Harold's going to bet out. He had a pair and a flush draw. He bet out on the turn. And let's see if Mr. Wu's going to raise here.
Raise.
Yeah.
And I like the raise.
Of course. And Harold's going to fold. Mr. Wu takes it down.
Well, the one thing good about this game is you just don't want to. To me, you don't really want to get caught chasing too much. Generally, get in there cheap, and if you hit your flop, make people pay to chase you.
Right.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I am David Tuckman. I'm here with Bart Hansen. We're playing Limit Hold'em tonight. The limits are 8-16. We're playing with $2 chips. So the structure is 4 and 8.
4 and 8 chip structure. Just like your 40-80 game with a $10 chip or your 20-40 game with a $5 chip.
Exactly.
Exactly
Just
the
chips.
same.
Raise.
We've got a raise here by seat number 7.
Seat 7, that is Marco.
3 players.
Marco's been playing like a wild man, and Dave again here. He's got Jack 5 suited. He's raised with Queen 8-8 on the flop. And look at this. Jack is going to bet right into trips, Dave. Something that you do not see a lot. And the Queen is going to call there, Rudy, in seat number 4. Jack's going to bet again. He's filled up here on the turn. And look at this. Rudy's going to check raise. Now, this is one of these times, Dave, where I got to be honest with you, rare times when you can just call on the turn and raise the river. Because if a guy...
I like the play by Rudy, I got to tell you.
Well...
I mean, it's not going to work, obviously, but I like the play by him.
Now, Jack 3-bet and Rudy called. The river here is a 4. Rudy's going to check, and Jack is going to bet. Let's see if... And Rudy's going to pay him off. I got to tell you, this is a rare situation, Dave. I can only count maybe 2 or 3 times in my poker life when you were check raise on the turn and you hold the absolute goods. I mean, in that case, I guess it's not the absolute goods, but I don't put the guy in pocket queens. Now, if he has another 8,
Or pocket aces.
okay, right, exactly. Now, if he has another 8, I have the full house with the ace
Right.
8. If he's got queen 8, I still have him. Or the reason why I don't 3-bet there on the turn, and I'm always a fan of jamming it and limit, is because if he's making a move, if I 3-bet, he's going to fold.
Right.
Now, I call and raise the river, but that situation happens when you have the absolute goods on the turn, so few and far between, and you get check raised. I just think it's
And
a
limit
rare
hold'em, you can
situation.
do that even if an action killer were to come out on the river.
Yeah.
You're only costing yourself 1 bet,
Right,
possibly.
right.
While on no limit, if you were to kind of slow play on the
Exactly.
turn, an action
Yeah.
killer comes out, you could lose,
Right.
who knows, $1,000
Right,
or more. I got to tell you, I like the play by Rudy, though. I mean, I didn't think I'd see that kind of play at this level, but that was a check raise on the turn, representing the 8, basically representing Jack's hand.
Right.
And because he figured, okay, if Jack had an 8, there's no way he's going to bet it out.
Pot was limped around here.
They should put a high-low stud over here. Sometime.
Gave it a shot, but it didn't work.
Jack 7-8, couple of hearts on the flop. And I think we had a bet here by, was it Marco with queen 8? Now he's picked up trips.
Well, he had the best hand, and now he's got even the better hand now. He's got the absolute nuts for this one. Nobody
See,
can beat him.
Again, I mean,
Right?
some of the common mistakes at this level, Dave, you can see by like Mr. Wu. A limped pot, and he's going to call with any part of the flop. He's got king 7, and that flop is very draw heavy.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
actually,
to call with king
Jack
7,
actually had a gut shot there. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Well, I mean, for Mr. Wu to call that flop with king 7 with 2 hearts out there, and all those straight draws, it's just. And the pot was limped around. Again, I mean, that's usually a hand that you're just going to get rid of on the flop.
Well, you're just chasing.
Yeah.
If you have bottom pair and somebody else's bet, generally speaking, you're chasing.
Right.
Somebody else is ahead. Well, you make a lot more money in limit hold'em being chased than not being the chasee.
Right.
Raise.
Got a raise here by
A raise
suit
by
number
Marco again raising, and
He's
this time he's got the
queens.
goods. Yeah.
Got queens this time.
And nobody calls him. Marco takes it down. And he doesn't show.
Thank you.
Well, that's a rarity to not see a flop here in this game.
Yeah. Bump, bump.
290, right?
So the button here is going to move over to seat 5.
Blinds in this game are $2 and actually $4 and $8.
Yeah,
Don't play
40.
this.
That's 2 chips and 4 chips.
Now, at our lower level games, like our 6-12 games, our 3-6 chip structure game, small blind's only 1. But when you move up to 30-60, it's 2. At
Right.
this casino. Yeah.
Well, most places, actually all places,
Yeah.
30-60, it's 2.
3-way action here.
All spades.
Pot was again limped around.
And nobody even has a sniff of this one. Now Rudy's picked up a 9. He's got the ace kicker with it, and he
didn't
decided
bet.
to check it. Yeah, wow. And he let Allen get there, and Allen's got the king, and he's going to bet it.
Rudy does not call. It's like Rudy's a little bit tight passive, Dave, here.
Although he called off his the first hand of the night, he actually called with ace high.
Right. Now, what do you think about reads in limit hold'em? Do you even bother with it?
I do personally. I mean, I
Third on?
like I said, it's really my game. I mean, I love limit hold'em. People that say, oh, you can't make plays in limit hold'em, you can't make moves in limit hold'em.
That's hogwash.
I think it's a bunch of crap. Playing my game, you know. If you think everybody's playing straightforward, you're crazy.
Button's got pocket aces here, and we got a limp from the cutoff, seat 5. We can't see his cards. And a raise.
That's Mr. Wu in there. He's limped in, and he's in bad shape, obviously.
4 players.
We got 4-way action. Mr. Wu's got ace 9 in the cutoff. He limped in here. Now, Dave, that's a hand that I'm probably going to bring that pot in with if I'm going to play it.
Now, seat 6 here, seat 7, Marco's actually picked up top pair,
Yeah.
but he's in bad shape.
And Marco bet right out, and Jack raised, and Marco called.
This is going to go check, call. Check, bet, call.
Yeah. And that's a great flop if someone doesn't have a 5 if you have pocket aces, Dave, because you can't lose to 2 pair.
And I'm pretty sure Marco's going to pay him off, and Marco does.
Yeah.
Aces
Anytime you have an overpair and the flop, comes out with a pair, and you're not scared that someone has trips, you've got a commanding lead because
Right.
you can't lose. If the guy has 7-8 and a 7 comes on the turn of the river, you're still ahead.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't
In that
matter.
case, obviously, Marco had 10-8.
Right.
10 was no good.
Right, exactly.
So he's got that many less outs. Instead of having 5 outs to make his 2 pair, he only has 2 outs to make trips. In that case, full house, actually. New player in seat 9. We lose Ferdin. And that's Stefan. With the old Corona visor there. Now those are stacks of 20, so each stack is about $40, or exactly $40. And a rack is $200.
Got a raise here by the button. King 4 suited, and we're heads up against 3-5 offsuit. And Stefan's flopped a pair.
But you got, heads up, you got to like your hand if you're Stefan, don't you? And he's going to bet it.
Marco checked the flop behind him.
And Marco's going to call?
He's
Was
going
he
to check
raising?
raise, it looks like. Well, maybe. No.
Yeah, he did raise.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Marco called him anyway.
And the river's a king, and Marco got to... And now he's going to bet.
And there, Marco's trying to represent the queen. It didn't work, but he got lucky and caught a king.
And he's going to take it down.
Well, look at that. My question, I asked everybody, what would Scott's last name be? And this is a great one. Got an email from Dave Runkle, and it's Scott the Fireman Ambulonian. I like it. Scott the Fireman Ambulonian. We'll have to let him know what his new last name is.
I don't know how to explain it.
He's wearing the old Drake University t-shirt.
Drake University, where's that at?
Drake University, yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
City of Drake, of course. Button is in seat 8.
We get a raise here by seat number 7 again. Jack 3 offsuit, Dave.
Well, he's like the designated table raiser. He pretty much raises anytime he's in position.
Now we got a suited ace in the small blind. He's going to call. And we've got 5-way action here. Pocket 6s over in seat 3. Ace 9 for Owen.
Queen 10.
Here we go.
I want to say ace 9 is the best hand right now, huh?
Looks like it. And Owen's going to bet. And
Now, might this be... Now, this is, to me, that's a
well,
spot.
look at this. Harold's got a set of 6s, and he actually raised the flop. Amazing.
Well, that kind of flop. 2
I know.
diamonds and, any 7s and open in the straight draw.
Again, at this level, it's almost like slow play-itis, slow
Well,
play-itis.
Mr. Wu was in there.
Queen 10. Well, the turn's a 9. Uh-oh, and Owen's got trip 9s, but Harold's got the full house.
Yeah.
And Owen bets again.
Is Harold only... Wow.
Harold just going to
Does
call?
he put him on 9-8? Or is he going to...
Wow, I don't know. Let's see the river. The river's an 8, and
Oh.
there it is, Dave. Ace 9 is good. Well, you can't raise now. That's for sure.
Well, now he can't beat any 9 or any 8.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? The way Owen plays this game, and I've only watched Owen for about 15 minutes, you can almost throw away your pocket 6s there. On the
Right.
river.
When you keep betting, you mean?
Oh,
yeah,
come on.
yeah,
He
exactly.
bet, you raised, he called. Then the 9 came on the turn, he bet, you called. And an 8 comes out there. You know your 6s is no good.
Right.
Obviously, it's easier said than done throwing that away, but you probably could have.
I mean, I see that, Dave, at the 20 and the 30 game, people just slow play their trips and their sets so much.
I was actually going to say what I would have liked to see Owen do with his ace-9. See, that would have been a perfect time for a check raise. He checks it. Theoretically, if it were to go round to the
Right.
original raiser, he would bet, and then you can raise and force everybody else out.
Because you don't want somebody to linger around with overcards, right?
Right, exactly. Because ace-9, you don't know another 9 is going to come out there,
Right.
and it's very vulnerable to a lot of cards.
Raise.
Got a raise here again by Marco. Queen Jack offsuit. So this is some lag play, right, Dave? Loose aggressive by seat 7,
4 players.
as opposed to tag.
Yeah.
4-way action.
Well, this is.
Well, Owen's picked up the nut flush draw, but Marco's got top pair, and Owen bets right into the jack with the nut flush draw.
I like the play. I mean, if nobody has a jack here, he can pick it up.
Raise.
And Marco's going to raise.
Limit Hold'em is one of those games where
Now, what's Stefan doing in there with ace-4 wheel draw offsuit? If he hits a 3 of spades, it's no good. Turns a queen, and now Marco's got top 2.
you raised this for Marco?
Well, actually, Owen shut down.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, Marco bet. Marco had raised the flop.
He did.
So,
Oh, okay.
The river's an 8, and Queen Jack is good here.
And that's one of those times if you're Owen, you know it's no good. You're not going to pay off with the 8 of hearts, are you? And he did.
Wow.
Queens and jacks.
Now Marco's a pretty crazy player, though.
Yeah.
Well, that experience that you betting spade or
Look at that. We've got a player on 2+2 actually playing with you, Bart.
Right.
Look at him. Did Brady just throw a game-tying touchdown to Branch, or am I lying? Use your poker skills to find out. Look at that. You are getting toyed with. I love it. Gotta love it.
Thank you, Jenny.
Button is in seat 1. That's Alan. Small blind, $4. In seat 2. Seat 3 is actually out of this hand. Seat 4 is in there. And we're going to get a raise out of guess who? Seat 7, of course.
got
We've
it,
got
right?
Marco.
Yeah.
And he raises it up with 10-8 offsuit.
4 players.
4-way action. Here we go.
I guess Marco just wants to play at 16-32.
Now, Jack, Jack 3. Look at the seat 6 has got King Jack. And once again, Jack is going to bet right into the trips, Dave.
Yeah.
Again. Marco folds.
2 players.
Mr. Wu calls with overcards.
How do you call overcards there?
Turns a king.
Now, this is a time that in no limit you might even check this once.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I got to be honest with you. Even in limit, I might check that once. Believe it or not.
I gotta think. You know, the funny thing though is that I probably wouldn't, especially against Mr. Wu, Dave, because any type of draw, if he's on a spade draw, he's gonna call. And I'm surprised he mucked it with Ace Queen. I mean, Ace Queen, I guess the king was a scare card for him. But if I had Jack 10 there and the turn was a 10, he definitely would have called. I mean, regardless of the straight draw.
No, without a
I'm
doubt.
saying,
But
I'm gonna try to.
There
put as
are
much
some
money in
times
there.
against a tricky player, I might check that with King Jack.
Yeah.
My thinking being, okay, if this guy has a Jack, okay, he might. Obviously, I'm giving up some equity here.
Right.
But if he's got nothing and it's a tricky player, he might. I might be inducing a bluff on the river.
Right.
3 bets.
And if he catches something good and he gets lucky, maybe I can get more.
Yeah.
One of the few times I might
Tap it.
slow play it.
Now we got pocket aces and pocket kings here.
And it's a capped pot.
Yep.
And
Look at the seat 6 raise, seat 7 re-raised with queen 8 of spades, seat 9 re-raised with kings. Mr. Wu's in there with 10-9 offsuit, and then aces caps it. Jack
And look at the
seat
king
6.
come off.
Wow, king 8-9. Well, Jack's going to bet with the aces.
Well, wouldn't you?
Marco calls with queen 8.
Raise.
And look at this. People are playing it straightforward tonight. I mean, kings on that flop, I would want to jam it. Look at this. Jack's going to jam it back. He's got the backdoor
And
nut
look at
heart
Mr.
draw.
Wu in there with
Mr.
10-9.
Wu's in there with 10-9. And the flop's going to get capped. Let's figure out this pot size. Capped pre-flop 4 ways. Capped on the flop 4 ways.
Well, $32 times 4, actually $32 times 8 right now.
Right. Turns a deuce.
So we got $256.
Jack bets again, and now Scott's going to raise.
Mr. Wu has his 2 chips.
Would you
short,
have 3-bet
one
there with
side.
aces, Dave, or would you just have shut down? Mr. Wu's all in. Well, now Jack's just going to call. This is going to be over a $300 pot. And the river's a 6.
Mr. Wu's out?
Mr. Wu's all in.
Oh, he's all in with
I
10-9.
missed
Yeah.
it. I missed it. 4 plus the other one.
What was he hoping for?
Right.
Well, he's drawing dead there on the turn.
I'm sorry.
He was drawing to runner, right? Runner quads at that point on the flop.
He may run around a straight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, he said he checked.
I have the chips in the front, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you thought that was your bet? I didn't bring it in. That was.
That was your
Yeah,
fault.
go ahead.
Okay.
If you want. There you go.
My apologies.
And he's in check call mode here.
I think that Jack actually is betting here. Yeah, Jack bet the river, I think maybe by mistake, and now
All that beside
Scott is going to raise, and Jack calls. And Scott is going to turn over kings. I don't know why you would bet the river there with aces after the guy basically capped it against you on the flop and raised the turn. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Aces is just one pair, right?
Especially when you get all that kind of, I gotta tell you, when it's a capped flop, pre-flop, and I have aces, I don't want to see Jack, Queen, or King on the board.
button is over here in seat 4.
Oh, I don't know. We got the big blind, big blind. Doesn't happen on this one.
And that's a big pot. That's over, I mean, I want to say that's about a $340 pot that Scott takes in there.
Yep.
Scott the Fireman.
Scott the Fireman. There he is. Got a new name for him.
Representing Drake University well.
Yes, sir. Yes.
King Deuce out there. Now, this is only a couple of players in there. It's Marco and Stefan in there. And they both missed the flop. But Marco didn't miss anything. He's got a pair of 8s.
Well, and he's going to... I think they both checked the flop, and now he bets the turn.
And he takes it down.
Take it down.
Actually, Stefan took it down. Wow.
Wow, Marco check folded there on the turn. Wow. Amazing.
Amazing. I mean, with no hand, he makes all sorts of moves. But with the 8s, he just checks and folds. Interesting. I couldn't really tell the action with all those chips in front of Scott.
This is kind of, the first and only show, Dave, and I know we don't do it that often, that will play Limit Hold'em with cards. Can you watch any other Limit Hold'em shows out there? None exist. Limit Hold'em.
No, I mean, you'll see Limit Hold'em tournaments, but let's be honest, what you're seeing is you're basically seeing like 3 pages of a 300-page book.
Yeah, it's really brutal.
Well, you get to see one hand here, and then you get to see one hand here, and you have no idea how it was shaped out. I mean, if you were to watch this on a TV program, you wouldn't know that Marco bluffs and raises almost every single pot.
Right. 4-way action here, limped around. A couple people have aces, but seat number 6 there, Jack, he's got top and bottom with ace-4.
Yeah. He's in good shape.
And look at this, Marco's going to check raise, Dave, with the ace-5.
Well, I don't mind the play here because he figures, okay, maybe the button will bet. The button is making a button bet.
Yeah.
But Jack actually 3-bets.
Jack did 3-bet him, yeah.
Wow.
Fast play everything. Turn is a 9.
So that's not that to me. That might be a time where I smooth call the raise, and then when he bets on the turn, I raise him there.
Right. I do that play a lot, Dave. When the river's 5, wow, and Marco, and I assume he's going to bet here. Yeah, and that's a good bet there because, a lot of people will shut down, Dave, when the third club.
You think Jack was going to shut down? I guess the third club.
I don't know. I mean, I probably would have bet it if I were Jack. But you never know. But I think Marco just bet and Jack called.
Marco sucks out there.
I do that a lot, Dave, especially when and again, I'm not a huge proponent of slow playing anything. But in limit, say the flop comes out 7, deuce 3, rainbow, and you've got aces, and you bet and a guy check raises you. I will normally call and then raise on the turn. With aces,
Especially if it's heads up.
Yeah, if it's heads up. So when you've got a strong hand that you've gotten check raised on the flop, again, sometimes you can wait until that double bet street to raise.
Well, it's also you're mixing up your play.
Yeah.
And you're putting somebody in the fear of, because there are a lot of times where somebody will check raise bluff you and then follow through on the turn.
Right.
And you want to put that fear in them that they maybe you'll do that with a real hand.
The other thing too is that if a scary card comes on the turn, like say like a third suited card, you can just call. Yeah. If you want to play it safe, Jack 10-7 here on the flop. Stefan's got a top pair.
But against tricky players, sometimes even in this game, calling is as much as is better than raising.
Wow, look at Scott hits trips here on the turn. Stefan bets, and Scott's going to check raise. Pretty standard.
Yeah, this is the time if you're Stefan, get away from you.
Yeah,
you got a jack with only a deuce kicker.
You can't beat anything.
Can't beat 8-9.
Rivers, now you really,
you really can beat nothing here. This is if you take your time here.
Yeah.
Your instinct is just throw the money in there. But if you take your time and you look at it, you can't really beat a jack, any jack that is.
Right. He called though.
What can you beat there?
Well, like you said, you can't beat any jack. You can't beat a 7. You can't beat a straight. You can't beat a 10. There's nothing. The flop was rainbow.
Even
if the guy was making a move with you earlier on with a pair and a straight draw, he has you beat now.
Well,
the board.
The interesting thing is that people are always scared. Like, I don't want to get bluffed out. I don't want to get bluffed out.
Right.
You know what? Bluff me out. As far as I'm concerned, I'll sit down and go, hey, you the man. Bluff me out. Go ahead. I have no problem throwing away the winning hand once in a while.
Yeah.
You got to leave your ego at the door if you're playing this game.
Go ahead and put them just like that, because you're already in.
I'm going to get to some controversy, Dave, on our thread after this hand with regards to certain people being suspended and banned, I guess, for some reason. Maybe somebody can fill me in with that. Four-way action here. Look at all the hearts. I think it was limped around.
And not surprisingly, all black cards come out of the flop.
Now I'm normally going to raise with king-queen suited pre-flop, but I think Jack just limped in. Now, Pascal bets with top pair. He's got top and bottom. Jack raises. And Jack raises. Let's see if Pascal's going to check raise here. No, he just check calls, Dave. Wow, pretty passive. He's got two pair. Heads up. And Queen 8's going to take... I think that was really strange, Dave. I think it went bet by Queen 8, raised by Jack, Pascal call. Turn was a 6. Check call by C5. Then C5 bet the river. And C6 just called. Strange.
Everybody else in.
A little strange. Yeah. A little bit strange. But again, I think that these are some of the best shows because, there's a lot of literature on Limit Hold'em and a lot of people that follow the show that might be internet pros, have a lot of experience with this game. That they can put in their 2 cents about each situation, whereas in our no-limit games, maybe people don't play no-limit cash games as much, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you can read as many books as you want to, but if you were to watch this for 2 hours and see how people really play, there's no book in the world that's going to replace this. And I'm not just plugging the show. I mean, I'm being honest here.
Yeah. One of our big celebrity posters, Dave, got suspended from 2+2, I think for insulting somebody.
Who?
I think
Russ McGinley?
Yeah, Russ McGinley. I was reading over the website over the weekend. Some other people had been suspended by...
I want to start putting in some brash comments on there, see if I can get suspended.
I'm sure you will be.
I want to see what I can say, how far I can go. Push the limit.
5-way action.
King, Jack, there, Scott's flop, trip kings.
Yeah.
This is not.
And again, he's going to bet it. You see so many people slow play this stuff. I'm surprised by how people have fast played pretty much all night tonight, Dave. I mean, this guy raised with his set of kings on that flop. I mean, once the pot gets big, like you've got 5 people in there, and it's capped, you just jam it. I mean, there's no finessing those types of pots, I don't think.
Not at all.
Especially with a couple of suited cards on there,
I actually was playing 30-60 on Saturday night with Hashem and a couple of other Bicycle Casino and higher ups.
Yeah.
And Hashem kind of shook his head at me because I check raised him with the nuts. He had flopped a set and I had flopped a nut straight. And I check raised him on the turn.
Yeah.
And I don't think he appreciated it. So if I'm not here in the next week or so, that's probably why.
Got a raise here by, looks like Pascal with ace-10. Ace-8-8. Marco's flop trip 8s. Oh, see, he's going to slow play it here, dude.
Well, wow, and Pascal didn't bet?
Yeah.
See, I was going to say it's not a...
He couldn't have been the pre-flopper. I think Marco was the pre-flop raiser, Dave.
Yeah.
And he checked the flop. That's must have how it went.
And he lost the bet here because if he bets the flop, he probably gets raised by Pascal.
Look at Harold call with Queen Deuce. Pascal calls and Jack calls with 3-4. He's got a wheel draw to
Queen
the 5.
Deuce?
The river's a Jack, and Marco fills up.
How can you overcall with Queen Deuce? I can understand calling one guy if you think one guy is bluffing. But when one guy calls, another guy calls, how can you call?
Well, he actually called with 2 people next to act.
Okay.
But still, you got to figure what those 2 people are going to have, right?
Well, when everybody checks the flop, you might think, okay, everybody's missed, and my deuce is good.
Jack 8 takes it down.
If you're the pre-flop aggressor, though, and you get lucky enough to raise with crap and then flop trips, you almost are forced to bet it because nobody's gonna bet your hand for you.
Right.
Plus, you give up a lot of equity because you're not allowing the other players to check raise you.
button moves over here to seat 2.
I had a really interesting conversation with Tommy Hofnagel, actually. And I want to talk to you about that, actually, because he's a professional poker player that's been playing professionally for over 30 years now. And he's played with such players as, I mean, he's played in games with Puggy Pearson and Doyle Brunson, Chip Reese. I mean, some of the greats.
5-way action. I believe that Marco brought this one in again, Dave, this time with 6 deuce. So Marco is really playing wild.
Pretty much raising every single hand pre-flop. I was checked around. Harold didn't bet it. Wow. Oh, well, Harold is in first position. I think he was hoping for a little check raise, but it didn't come.
I think Marco just folded his hand on the flop. He open-folded. When he pre-flop raised, he open-folded on the flop.
Okay. Yeah. It's a way to play it.
Now Harold bets, and he's going to take it down.
I mean, Harold was probably hoping for a bet by Marco, and then he could check raise, but it didn't work.
No, the guy just folded instead.
So it's another way to play it, right? So anyway, I was talking to Tommy Hofnagel, and he was talking about some of the best players he's ever played with. And he said he used to play with Puggy Pearson, who he respects. He thinks he's probably one of the greatest players to ever play in the world. And he was saying how Puggy used to send Doyle home packing, because they'd be in Vegas playing together, and Doyle would come in from Texas, and Puggy would say, "I'm going to send your ass back to Texas, just like I do every single time." And sure enough, he did. And it was really interesting conversation. I'm going to, I actually offered Tommy dinner. I'm going to take him out to dinner and pick his brain for a couple hours. And hopefully I'll post our interview on liveatthebike.com. So you can check out Under the Gun with David Tuckman, because my interview with Tommy will be there in the upcoming weeks.
We have a raise here by seat number 7 again, Dave. This time it looks like 9 deuce offsuit, or 9 deuce suited, and he picks up top pair. But we got a set of 3s there for Stefan in seat 9.
So let me ask you this.
And Stefan's going to raise.
If you're in this game, would you rather be in seat 6 or seat 8?
Oh, I think I'd rather be in seat 8.
Would you?
Yeah. Wow, quads. Stefan's made quads.
So Marco's
going to bet right into the nuts again.
Now this time might be time for... Well, he's going to raise anyway. Well, Marco's not going to go anywhere. He's always pays off when he has top pair. This is the other time. How can you possibly have the winning hand with 9 deuce?
Rivers and ace.
You almost wish that Marco made a flush here.
Well, now maybe he's... And then the third spade comes.
I mean, what can you beat?
That's a good hand.
You can't even beat deuce 4 anymore.
And again, Marco's turning over his hand, bringing it in there with 9 deuce suited.
So I was going to ask you, I mean, obviously, being on seat 8, you can isolate him, which is nice. But being in seat 6 isn't necessarily a bad thing either, because he's a very predictable, crazy player. You know every single time he's going to raise.
Well, the only thing about that, though, is I'll throw this out for you. How about in a no-limit game, I'd rather be in seat 6, and in a limit game, I'd rather be in seat 8? Do you know why I'm saying that?
Yeah, no, because you can limp in with your big hand. He's going to raise it up.
Right.
You get to see what everybody else does.
Right.
And then you get to act. And it's the same way in a limit, too.
Well, I know, but in a limit, though, I mean, I don't necessarily... I mean, you're not going to... I don't necessarily want to take hands 7 or 8 way every time, you know.
Right. But you can decide how you want to play it.
Right.
Because you know what he's going to do.
But you can almost 3-bet with almost, any ace there. You know, if he's bringing in with any 2 cards, I might 3-bet him with any ace.
You can 3-bet him with any queen.
Yeah.
The way he's playing. I mean, what's he in here? He's in with 9-4.
Seat 8 was the raiser this time. King, queen suited. Ace, 10, king here.
Yeah, and Marco's in bad shape again. And it's just check fold.
So each rack of green, Dave, is $200. A stack is $40. A stack of chips is 20 chip denomination.
Now it's funny, when you're playing like 30-60, if you win a rack, you win $1,000. And obviously that's a pretty good day.
Right.
This game here, it's not uncommon to actually win 3 or 4 racks.
Right.
Because the game is so fast.
It's the same thing with the
so big.
Same thing with the yellow chip game too. I mean, if you buy in for just a single rack in a 4-8 chip structured game, it's really not enough.
Oh, definitely not.
You can easily go through that. I mean, that is not what I constitute a good buy-in in a 4-8 chip structured game, a rack.
No, yeah, I personally think the minimum buy-ins they have in at the casinos. I would like to see the casinos raise the minimum buy-ins. I think it encourages players that don't have the bankroll to play limits they shouldn't be playing. I think.
Now, seat 4 had posted Dave, and he's going to bring it in for a race. He's got ace 7 of diamonds.
And I'll get to that point in one more second here. 8's here for seat 5, huh?
And
Pasquale.
everyone just calls. So you got 5-way action. times
$16 times 5. You got $80 pot now. Not a very good flop for 8s, huh?
10 small pots, 10 small bets, $80. King 9, 10. Well, Rudy's going to bet here. He's got the nut flush draw. What is ace 3 of clubs doing in the hand? Jack, he calls, Dave. That's what we're talking about. Some people just call with a single ace to try to spike an overcard. It's amazing.
Well, how about an undercard?
Well, he gets a pair of 3s now. Rudy's going to bet again. I mean, what can Jack do here? He's going to call. Wow.
Now, if you're going to play that, you almost have to raise it, don't you?
Well, I mean, you got Stefan behind you.
Well, that's the whole point.
Call.
You've got to raise it. You've got to
Yeah.
try to get a 9 or a 10. If somebody's got a 9 or a 10, try to get them out.
Right.
And if the other guy misses his diamonds, maybe you can win this.
Well, by not doing that, he's behind Stefan here. That's the issue.
Right.
Now, the river is a queen. Now, if he had done that, Dave,
He
would
can take it
have
down.
won.
Well, that's a play. Those are plays that you can make in limit hold'em. I mean, I'm actually a proponent of just throwing away your ace 3.
Right.
But if you're going to play it, you've got to raise it.
Right.
Get that 9 deuce out. There's no way Stefan's going to call. And since nobody really showed that much strength on the flop, there's a good chance nobody has a king. So you can get a loose 10 or a loose 9 out.
And who would have thought that Stefan was going to win that hand with that board? King 9, 10, 3 queen. He's got deuce 9 against a pre-flop raiser in 3 callers.
Yeah, amazing. So anyway, my point is, I mean, I think most casinos do this. I mean, I think it's not even in their best interest. To me, you get people with a smaller bankroll playing up in the limits, and then what happens is they go broke quicker, and then they don't play for a month or two.
Right.
And then by the time they come back, they take a month or two off, they build up the bankroll, and they come back and they play over their head again. Now, if somebody with only, say, a couple $1,000s, instead of playing a 20 game, went and played a 6-12 game, they might not go broke. They might be able to play longer, which is obviously in the best interest of the casino. And the best interest of the players, too.
Got a raise here by seat 7. And he's going to take it down. Well, Al's played it pretty tight, Dave.
Interesting little post here from the Spink here. I'll push the limit, no limit 2+2. Tuckman likes to fondle his dog's balls. Now, interestingly here, this guy's obviously I'm sorry, but this guy obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. My dog doesn't have any balls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've cut them off a long time ago.
You did yourself.
Yes. I actually have them in a jar.
Yes, absolutely.
It's funny, actually. I cut my dog's balls off when he was 6 months. He was a rescue dog. And ever since, he looks like he's been searching for them. Because he loves tennis balls, but he's been searching. He's ball crazy. It's amazing.
Pocket queens here for C3. He's going to raise. Call. And another call. So 4-way action. $64 pot. Harold's got the ladies, and he brought him in. Well, 6-7-4 with a couple of diamonds. Owen's got top pair there in C2. He checks. Now, Dave, again, this is the type of hand, even if I had 7-8, I would bet right into
And
the
Jack's
razor.
in there with Jack 9.
Wouldn't you bet right into the razor here with 7-8?
Yeah, you almost want to.
You want Harold to knock everyone out behind you. Well, now he's has 2 pair, but it's anyone with
Unless
5
you
would have a
think,
straight.
Harold's got a bigger hand. But now he bets into him.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you check raise here?
Well, maybe he wants to figure out where he's at and see if someone has a 5.
Yeah, but now the board's too scary. Now you're not going to get the raise from Harold, obviously.
Right. Well, the problem here for Harold is he's got an overpair, but he's got 2 people behind him.
Yeah. Well,
He's going to get away from it.
Nice lay down from Harold. And I think that's playing the player a little bit because Owen,
Jack is
if
open-ended
Owen shows
here.
strength, he does it.
And the river's a 10, and look at that. Jack's going to make the nut straight there.
And that's just a terrible beat. I mean, Jack 9 on that flop. I mean, it's one of those times he's going to turn the hand over, you look at the flop, and you go, man, what were you in there with?
Right. Doesn't it take a while for the balls? I don't know much about dogs, Dave, but doesn't it take a while for them to kind of collapse or drop or what is it called? Descend?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to us, I mean, our balls drop after a long while, so theirs.
So we're going to take a look at our chip count here. Owen has got $650. I mean, so if it was like a 20-40 game, Dave, he would have
1,500.
Yeah, 1,500.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, I mean, that's obviously going through puberty for the dogs. Same difference. But generally, if you're going to cut them off, you do it before they go through puberty. Allen's going to raise on the button here with pocket with 10.
No, actually, seat 7 was the razor, and Allen
Okay.
called with 9-10.
Why not 3-bet?
Yeah, that's the type of thing that I would definitely 3-bet.
If I'm going to play it at all, why not 3-bet?
Yeah.
I mean, it turns out this time that seat 7 Marco actually has an ace,
Ace King 3 here.
and he has ace 6. But
And we got to see a bet. And did Allen raise? I think Allen's raising as a bluff here. Ace King 3 on the board. He's got 10-9, and the other guy's got top pair, and he's not going to go anywhere, Dave.
yeah,
Turns another ace. And Allen bets here. Let's see if Marco's going to check raise. No? He just
I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of the way Allen's played this hand.
River's a queen.
Well, Allen's got a draw now.
Allen bets, and it looks like Marco might be scared of a weak kicker. Him having a weaker
Well,
kicker.
you know what? He's got the absolute most money he could have, Allen there.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan. Hey, if I'm going to come in with 10-9 offsuit against a guy who likes to raise pretty much every hand, why not 3-bet it, take control of the hand?
Yeah.
Now if this guy misses the flop, it turns out he didn't miss it, but if he misses it, I can take it away from him. I don't know, there are often times where if I'm playing against a somewhat tight passive player or a loose passive player, I will 3-bet them in position with a hand that is not normally considered a 3-bet. Like, I mean, if a loose passive player raises it and I look down at Queen Jack suited, I don't want to call him. Generally, I will 3-bet it and then try to outplay him after the flop comes down. And obviously, if I'm in a game that's loose passive across the board and everybody's going to call me anyway, well, in that case, I'd probably just call with Queen Jack of Hearts and take it from there.
We're going to see a setup here, Dave. So you were actually rooting against the Jets at the end of the game on Sunday?
No, you know what? Being a Jets fan, I couldn't bring it in my heart to actually root against them. But as far as I'm concerned, I want Herman Edwards fired. And if the Jets lose enough games, maybe he will be fired. I'm just hoping.
Wow, that's really brutal.
He sucks. There's nothing. This is just honesty. Okay, he's just a terrible coach. Anybody that watches football, you know what I loved yesterday? Dick Vermeil at the end of the Oakland-Kansas City game, he actually went for the touchdown and went for the win instead of just going for the tie. He played for the win. The Jets coach, he plays not to lose. And I hate that kind of style. I hate that style in poker. I hate that style in football. I mean, it's just I don't know anybody that wins a championship that way.
Got a raise here. Looks like it was by the small blind with 6-3 offsuit.
Oh, small blind, really?
Yeah.
Live at the blind.
10-7-9.
We'll have none of that talk here.
Actually,
not
maybe
gonna-
it was by seat 7. Excuse me. We can't see his cards. Turn is
He's got a
6.
king deuce.
Okay. So
Yeah, I'm
maybe
gonna-
Rudy just called there.
Let's take it for granted that he probably bet.
You're right.
He probably was
The flop got checked around the turns of 6, and now he's going to bet. And Rudy has a pair now, but he's going to get rid of it. But Pascal is going to call with ace-queen, and his hand's good right now, Dave. And the river's a queen.
Didn't need the queen, but now it's overkill.
Ace-queen is good. There you go.
Thank you.
Button
Now, it
moves
was
over
interesting
there to
little
C3.
the conversation I had with Tommy Huffnagel was interesting on another couple of levels too, because you started talking about some players, and I was trying to get all the dirt on some of them, and he goes, "Oh, wait a second, some of these guys are still alive." So I'm gonna have to. I'll probably have to buy him a couple of glasses of wine.
Corona. That's what he likes to drink.
Corona
Yeah.
and a good dinner. Loosen him up a little bit.
This one looks like it's going to get folded around in the blinds.
So speaking of loosening up in a couple of bottles of wine and wining and dining, how was your date on Friday night?
My date?
Yeah.
Oh, it was good. I went to I went up to a little party in Pasadena, and then I went to brunch on Sunday morning at Shanghai Reds in Marina Del Rey. If you're familiar
Really?
with
So
that.
the date extended into Sunday? The date extended?
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
I mean, was it... Interesting. So is there a future for the Miss Bart here?
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. She's not Asian, Dave.
She's not Asian.
No.
Wow.
No.
I know you've got a thing for Asian girls.
No.
Wow.
Donna, we got a marked card.
Is she Greek?
Donna,
Donna Brown, like change, please.
Donna, marked card.
This Brown.
Is she
And
African American?
yes, she is.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. There you go.
Got a raise here by Alan. King 10 of spades. Ace, deuce, queen. Couple of hearts.
Well, he's behind. Harold's got the best hand
He
here.
does. He's just going to call, though. Alan bets.
And this is the kind of time I might even raise this on the turn.
Well, I would have raised it on the flop with ace jack. Well, the turn's a queen, and now Alan's got a straight draw. Alan's going to bet again with the second pair. Call, call.
I still might raise this. Because sometimes, okay, I'll give you a play of why I like to raise it in position with ace jack there.
And the river's a jack.
Well.
And now Alan made a straight.
Yeah.
And Stefan comes out and bets with two pair. I don't know how you bet there. I mean, maybe you check, cry, and call there, but would you bet with queen jack with two
Especially
people
with a
against
heart
that
out there,
third
jack
heart?
of hearts.
Yep.
Now, one of the reasons I like to raise with ace jack on the turn there, even when a scary card comes out, is because it's not necessarily, if it's scary to me, my opponents might be scared by it too. So what I do is I raise there.
Right.
More often than not, unless they have the absolute nuts, they can't re-raise me. Well, if they re-raise me, I can safely throw my hand away.
Right. Some play.
Now,
you
let
might
me
even
just
have
finish this one thing. Now, if they call, okay, I can usually get a free showdown. So basically, instead of putting in $16 on a turn and $16 on the river, I'm basically putting $32 on a turn, and I'm getting a free showdown. Now, if I feel comfortable enough to bet it again, I can, but it kind of it's kind of a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. And if they re-raise me, I can usually safely throw away one pair.
Sometimes you can get tight players who have ace jack to fold their hand. Sometimes people might even fold two pair there, Dave, if
Yeah.
you're raising on the turn. No, I agree with you.
Well, in that case, I probably could have I might have been able to get rid of King 10.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And when a jack comes on the river, I can check it down if I'm not comfortable.
Yeah. Now look at this ace-king, seat 3. He's going to limp in there, Dave, in the cutoff -1 seat. Limps in and limit hold him. Interesting. All spades. He's got the second nut spade draw. 10-3-9. Marco's going to bet here. Second pair. Stefan's going to raise with second pair. Worst kicker with no spade in his hand. Harold calls with ace-king. I mean, queen 9 bets. 7-9 of diamonds raises. We go to the turn. Marco's hand is still good here. He's going to bet again. Now, he does this a lot, Dave. He'll bet, get raised, call, and then lead again on the turn. He's done that a few times tonight. And look at this. Stefan's going to raise again. And Harold's going to call with the second nut spade draw again.
Wow.
He's all in. And now and look at this. He got Marco off the hand, Dave. He got Marco off the best hand. He's going to have to dodge some cards here on the river.
Spade, a king.
River's a 9. Wow, both players would have made trips to case 9. See if we can get a shot of Marco. See if he's displeased over there in seat number
Well, you know what?
7.
Marco doesn't like to lay down hands, and basically that hand there ensures that he'll never lay down another one ever. Again.
Yeah.
Get a new player in seat 6. His name is John.
You buy the bun? Oh, yeah. Buy the bun.
We got John in seat 6.
zero.
And the small blind, seat 8, that's actually Scott Fireman in the small blind there.
Yep. What's the guy's name who's the fireman for the Jets? Is that douchebag still around?
How dare you say that? We're talking about New York Fire Department. I mean, are you kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Man, talk about inappropriate. These guys are heroes. These guys are gods. Man, I tell you. Jeez.
4-way action. Deuce 5-6, couple clubs.
Maybe you ought to move to Canada.
Oh, yeah, that's... I just got to get a bouncing head like with the guys on South Park. Lawrence and
that's
Clarence and
great.
Terrence. Turn is a king here. Scott's going to bet again here. He's just got a gut shot.
No, well, John's only got 8 high. How could John call? There you go. Scott takes it down.
I'm going to tell you, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of South Park. I mean, I'll watch it when it's on, but having the Canadians have bouncing heads, that's pretty funny. Any Canadian on the show has a flapping head, and that's how you identify themselves as a Canadian. Clarence and Terrence, right? Clarence and Terrence? Yeah. But anyways, what about the fire guy?
No, he's actually a really nice guy.
Yeah. Actually, I remember
I've actually met him once.
I remember he went on Stern one time and told Stern off. That's why I never liked the guy. Seriously. He's like, I don't agree with what you say. It's like,
oh, what's wrong with that?
he did it in a very crass manner.
Oh, like Howard Stern can't be crass? I think Howard Stern can take it, you know?
Got a raise here. King, queen offsuit. And we have a 4-way action here. Time's a double-sized bet.
And is Stefan in there with 8-3 offsuit?
Looks like it.
To a raise, and he was in the small blind.
King,
that means
jack,
he's
5.
in there for he was in there for 2 chips and decided to voluntarily put another 6 chips in there.
Look at this. Marco bet and Rudy just called with top 2. Is he setting up a play? Turns a 5. Let's see if he check raises here, Dave.
And obviously King Jack still in the lead here. They both have 2 pair.
Yep. He's going to check raise. And you know, this is why, like, if you have an overpair to this type of board, you would never lay it down to a check raise on the turn because somebody could be making this move with the King Jack, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, there's just too many hands that he might have.
Right. Yeah, King Jack beats King Queen here.
And honestly, if you get into a really if you're playing a tricky aggressive player, you might even be making this move with Ace King or King Queen.
Right.
There are a lot of times where I'll raise with Ace King or King Queen to try to get basically to slow the other player down, and sometimes once again I can get a free showdown.
Either way.
I'm in one of those check call modes, but I want to be the aggressor just in case I'm wrong. Button is in seat 9.
Raise.
Got a raise here by seat number 5.
Well, AC Deucey. AC Deucey, never Lucy.
Ace deuce offsuit. Look at all these low cards in the hand. This is incredible. 5-way.
Well, I predict paint.
This is crazy.
Here it comes. Oh,
Wow,
there's 2
there's an
paints.
ace, King, Jack. Well, Scott's got a flush draw.
Alan's got the best hand here with Ace 9. Seat 6 just threw their hand. Threw his hand away. I love this.
Well, here we go. We got a bet there by seat 5. Seat 8 raised, and Alan called a bet and a raise with Ace 9. I think I probably would have folded out of position, Dave.
Ace
a
9.
bet and a raise with this board. Oh, there's the flush. And again, though, you wonder, why did Scott raise? It's one of the most common mistakes you make. Why would you raise when next to act? When seat 5 bet on that flop, why would you raise with 3-5 of diamonds?
Well, the only reason you'd raise is if you're in position, you can raise and get a free card in the turn.
Right, but
because he might check to you, and if you don't hit your diamond, then you.
But
can.
I would think that you want people in behind you.
You do, but you might be able to get a free card though. There is a play there for that. If I'm out of position, I'm certainly not going to check raise.
Right.
Because I don't want people out. But if I'm in position, for the price of basically I'm saving. If I miss, I can get to see the river for only 4 chips instead of 8 chips.
Now the river was a 10 of clubs, and the ace deuce ended up folding because there was just nothing he could just straight out there, flush out there. Well, sometimes people that raise, say, like an under the gun, somebody in early position bets. You've got a flush draw, you raise, and there are 6 people next to act. I mean, that's.
I mean, to me, the worst play is if I'm first to act,
right.
I check. 2 people call, somebody in late position raises, and I'm going to 3-bet.
Right.
What, I want to drive them out? No, of course not.
Right.
And then you're first to act on the next level, so you can't get the free card because if you check to them, they're going to bet anyway. That's a terrible play. You don't want to knock people out when you're on a draw.
Now Jack is going to raise here Scott. Queen Jack off suit. And we're heads up here. Queen Jack against ace 8. 10-6-3. Goes check there, Dave.
Well, Queen Jack has picked up a straight draw here,
Now he's
open-ended.
going to bet.
Oh, and still was the best hand, though.
Well,
He's going to throw it away. But you understand what I'm saying? Obviously, the raise in position to get a free card in the turn.
right.
And then how many times have we seen that where you raise, the guy checks to you, you check, and they go, oh, man. Interesting post here from Mark Summers. It says, he quotes Herm Edwards, "We play to win the games." Well, if he says it, it must be true.
How long has Herm Edwards been coach of the Jets for, like 4 years now?
Yeah, I think so. He's been there for 4 years. Right around 4 years.
Button is, I think Isaac just passed you an update for the game, but I didn't look at the score. Pot is limped around here. 7-way action. So that's over a $50 pot. Ace Jack 7 with a couple of spades. It's a flush draw. Someone's got an ace in here. 2 people have aces. Got a bet there by, is it Marco? Marco's got bottom 2 pair. Look at these hands. Marco's got Jack 7. He bets. Scott raises. Owen's going to call with ace 9. John in seat 6 has got the second nut flush draw. He's going to call. And Marco didn't 3-bet there.
Wow, I mean, this is a huge flop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Excuse me. And look at this. The turns of Jack. Excuse me. Scott has got top and bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Top pair, bottom pair, 2 pair.
And
Now you got a full house here.
Marco's going to bet with the full house.
Now that card, even if somebody doesn't have a jack, that card kills your ace 7 now
does.
because now you have aces and jacks with a
Right.
7 kicker.
Right.
And your 7 kicker is garbage. Can't even beat a real
disgusted,
ace.
and he's going to fold.
Wow, that's a good laydown from
And
Scott.
Owen's going to fold.
Wow, that's a great laydown by Scott.
Well, John is drawing dead. But, again, I mean, you'll see people chase, draws here and limit. And the river.
And now let's see if he the frustration payoff on the river when he catches a king.
I can't imagine that he would call here, Dave.
Really?
Well, it's an interesting pickup that I've made on Marco. Again, he will not, jam the flop. Even with the big hand, something with top 2.
Right.
If he bets and gets raised, he's almost I don't know if he's playing it this way, but he likes to lead out on the turn, maybe wait for a safe card. I don't know if I'm giving him credit for that, but some people will do that. With that type of flop with bottom 2 pair, you're very vulnerable. You actually might wait.
Yeah, there's sometimes I'll play it a little tricky in the sense of, let's say that I have top pair, but there are 2 spades on the board, and I'm playing against you, Bart, and I bet right into you, and you raise me.
Right.
Okay. And I think, okay, you might have top pair, but you might have spades. And now a safe card, a nice safe low card comes on the turn. I might bet into you again because I don't want to give you a free card.
Right.
And if your hand's not real strong, you can't raise me.
Re-raise.
Got a raise here by seat 7 and a re-raise by seat number 9. And I believe that Marcos is playing this hand blind, Dave. He's raised blind. He happens to have an ace. He has ace 4. And seat 9's got ace 10 off suit. Why not raise again?
Cap.
And Marco is going to cap it blind, Dave. And we're going to see it 5 ways capped. Capped 5 ways. And look at this pot. Over $150 right away. 8, 6, deuce.
Oh, can I have Owen's hand, please?
Yeah, Owen's got a set of 6s.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
actually
I'm gonna
pretty
bet.
vulnerable here.
Owen's going to raise.
I mean, there are a couple straight draws out there, right? Well, actually, there's only one straight draw I see right now. That's John's got the gut shot.
Well, he's not going to screw around. This is what I talk about. When the pot's really big, you don't screw
Oh,
around.
not with 5 players in there. No way.
Rudy called with Jack 9.
Especially in limit hold'em,
Backdoor diamonds.
it's just almost impossible to figure out what your opponents have when you have 5
All
players.
these guys called a double-sized bet on the flop.
Well, now John's got a gut shot with the spade draw.
Right. Rudy's picked up top pair. Owen's going to bet again with
Now
the
it's
set.
capped pre-flop. How can you possibly think like Jack 9 is good?
And Ace 10 is still in there, Dave, trying to catch a gut shot to the 7. Here we go to the river. And the river's an 8, and Owen fills up.
Yep.
Why not bet again?
Oh, you hope somebody has an 8 here. As long as they don't have 9-8, you're okay.
And do you think Rudy's going to pay him off? He's got top pair.
It's a big pot not to pay him off.
I mean, this is almost like begetting mistake, but at this point you should call, right? I mean, it's almost...
Well, what is it, a $300 pot? And you've got to call, $16 to
Yeah.
win 300. I mean, you've got to be right, 1 out of 15 times?
Right. I mean, there are some times when you just know. There are some times when you just know you're beating your hand down. But there are other times, too, where maybe the guy is just betting as a steal and thought he... I mean, I've seen guys, Dave, when the pot gets big pre-flop, they'll just bet as a bluff. That's when they go in a bluff mode, when the pot's
Right,
big.
but there's 5 people in the pot. You know what I mean? What are you? He's bluffing all 5? And look who's bluffing. It's Owen. You know what I mean? Play the player a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably what I was doing.
Hey, look at Kev Mether. How can anyone hate Fireman Ed? Thank you, Kev Meth. I appreciate that. But you know what's so interesting, though? It's like, how can you... He's a fireman. I mean, is there any more heroic figure?
No, there aren't.
I mean, if my wife ever left me, it would be for a fireman. And she'd have my blessing. I mean, what can I say?
5-way action. Allen was the raiser here. Ace, queen of diamonds, Dave. King, king, 4. Let's see if he follows up with a bet here. Now, John bets with pocket 5s. Marco calls. Allen's out of there. And look at this. Owen's got trip kings, and he just calls. Turn is a 6. John is all in for 1 chip.
Yeah, Marco's drawing dead.
Marco's going to call.
John needs a 5 and only a 5.
And Owen's going to raise.
Surprise, surprise.
And that's it, Dave. I mean, the river doesn't matter.
Well, no, John can get a
Excuse me,
5.
You're right. Actually, John is all in. He can catch a 5 here.
Only a 5.
The river is an 8.
That's not a 5.
And look at Owen stack those chips up over there.
Somebody get him into the rack. Now, I see on the 2+2 thread, there's a Spink 2 now. What, did the Spink 1 get banned already? He only had like 18 posts. Now he's got to come back as the Spink 2?
I don't know. Maybe someone can PM me the story, but apparently there's a guy who moderates the World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments for him. I think his name is Dynasty. Has he been the one that's been suspending people?
Dynasty, huh?
Yeah. I don't know why, though.
Any relation to the mid-'80s show?
I don't think so.
My father-in-law was actually on that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dynasty, and then actually the spin-off, the Colbys.
Yeah. Got a raise here by seat 6 with ace-jack offsuit. Pocket kings, though, for Scott. And he's going to 3-bet it. Four-way action. 3 bets, Dave. Look at Marco in there with deuce 6 of spades out of position. He's picked up the spade draw.
And he checks it. Now, this would be a terrible time for me from the check raise. And he just calls. Okay. Because clearly deuce 6 of spades needs help. 3 6 of spades
It's actually
needs help.
3-6,
Yeah.
Here's, 7 of heart exposed.
Exposed, burn card.
Turns a king.
Well, that gives Scott a set of kings here.
Yep.
And interestingly enough, it gives Harold a draw. Harold needs a jack. John is drawing dead.
Marco's going to call with the draw.
Yeah. And he's got to dodge a jack and a spade.
So let's see the river. And the river's a 9, and he fills up. Nothing like happened. And there you go. Marco open folds again.
Yeah. And I mean, that's actually really bad etiquette.
Because it indicates that you were probably on some sort of draw and you didn't get there, right?
Well, it just makes it easier. You think about it here. If now, obviously, Scott in this case is not bluffing, but let's say Scott was bluffing the whole way.
Right.
If Harold had a hand that he might call with,
Right.
well, he knows. You know, he already knows that obviously he knows that Marco's out,
Right.
and it's one less player to worry about.
Because sometimes if you get a player to act after you, you have to have a stronger hand to call in between. But if somebody just folds out of turn, or basically open folds.
Well, it's a matter of etiquette, right?
And it's actually not against the rules there, right?
Well, no, if you do it a lot, actually, you can get they will
Really?
give you an out. Yeah, it is. It's bad etiquette if you do it enough. The dealer, the floorman, you can call the floorman over.
Yeah.
You have to wait your turn to act. Now,
But he did
people
wait
that are
his turn. I mean, it was his turn. He folded.
right, but that's that. You can't fold if there's no bet to you, though.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm saying
Yeah.
you can get a floorman to say, listen, you have to wait until it's turn because you're giving away a lot of
Right.
information.
You're giving away a lot of them.
I mean, I actually had a couple of people from the internet, people play predominantly on the internet, asked me about that. And they said, you know, for them it's real easy because they can just press the fold when it comes to my turn button. And they can go pee or something, you know,
Right,
go get a
right.
sandwich. But if you're playing live, hold on to your cards. It only
Well, you
takes
see,
another 10
sometimes
seconds.
people do it live too. Like they just, they'll leave their cards on the table, get up and go. That's bad etiquette as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just, you're playing for real money here. You know,
Yes, we gotta get them registered.
you know, and a lot of people's attitude is, well, it's not my job to protect that guy's hand.
Well, look at this. Seed 8. He's got ace 4. And he's going to bet right away. He's got top and bottom. But I believe that Rudy's got top 2 pair, and he had raised pre-flop. And he just calls, Dave. I think he's slow playing it to raise on the turn here.
I'd imagine so.
So 2 pair against 2 pair. Oh, now he fills up. And again, Scott's
That's
hand
actually-
gets counterfeited.
That's actually a bad card for Rudy.
Yeah. And now Rudy's going to raise.
But this time
Scott's
Scott's going to
gonna
stay in
pay
there.
him off.
Scott's going to be stubborn.
His head's up. He just won a pot. He might be feeling good.
And this is one of those times, if you're Scott, though, what can you beat?
Can't beat a higher ace.
Can't beat an ace. Can't beat a 9. You can only beat a bluff.
Think you outturned me.
Remember, the guy smooth called the flop and raised the turn, which usually represents a lot of strength, right?
Well, there's just you look at it there. I can't beat it really any ace because I've got aces and 9s with an 8 kicker, right? And I'll chop it up if the guy has anything lower than that because my kicker doesn't even play.
Right.
I can't beat a 9. It's just like
Well, that's what I'm saying. And the guy raised pre-flop, but now he smooth called your
Yeah,
bet.
definitely
And
straight.
now he raised the turn. So it's almost like he's representing something as high as ace, queen, ace, king, maybe even a set of aces. Or you can't beat a 9, obviously, or any ace for that matter.
if the guy's bluffing, he's bluffing. So be it.
Got a raise here. By seat 5. He's got ace 6 offsuit. Three-way action. Here we go. 10-6-3.
Well, the 2 of the aces hit the kickers. Got 3 aces out there, right? Ace 10, ace 6, and ace 3.
We had a bet there by Pascal.
Wait, look at this. They all hit their kicker.
Marco raised, and seat 5 re-raised.
How often does that happen?
Wow. Look at
Every
this.
ace hits their kicker.
Pascal bet, Marco raised, seat 9 called, Pascal re-raised, and Marco capped it
Well,
with ace 10.
Pascal's got now the ace of diamonds. He's got the redraw.
Okay, checked also. 5 chips all in.
And Marco's all in here for 5 chips with ace
Oh, well,
10.
that's what I thought.
He needs to dodge a diamond here, Dave.
Yeah,
A
diamond is
6
6
or
and a 3.
And
Oh.
the river's a 3. And
Wow.
Stefan's going to take it down with the third best
How
hand.
are you in there with ace 3 there?
Wow.
I mean, what can you beat with ace-3 on the flop? And then on the turn, the diamond comes out.
Well, any pair, Dave. I mean, we've seen it before.
I mean, it's amazing. And Marco takes a long walk.
Blind sleep.
We should actually we should instill that music in there. Take the long road home?
Long walk off of a short pier.
That works too.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys we should. I want to know what people think we should
There he is.
put in as our exit music for people that leave the game. And the one thing that's great about Limit Hold'em, especially at this limit, a lot of these players, and most of them I want to say, are just recreational players. They're here to have a good time.
Yeah, they're all just
And then most of them are having a good time. Drinking, eating, and playing poker. Can you beat that?
Jack 9-5 here. It doesn't look like anyone hit any bit of this.
Right, exactly.
Button is in seat 9. He's last to act.
Go ahead.
Stefan still has the best hand. Well, not anymore.
Owen's backed into a pair. And he's going to bet, Dave.
Wow. What, maybe get paid off by ace high?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Small blind, big blind.
And I'm not sure if anybody knows. We are trying to keep the score of the Patriots Colts game off the 2+2 thread for Bart.
It looks like I think that guy's having a little fun with me. Dave.
Yeah, I think he is. But who knows?
Three-way action here.
Some people have just too much time in their hands.
Pascal's got ace-10. He's going to bet right out here.
Hey, top pair, top kicker. You can't really slow play that board, can you? 2 diamonds, 9-10.
Well, John's going to call with overcards and a gut shot.
That's one of the few times I don't mind calling with the overcards. Because if a jack hits, you're probably good if a jack, a queen, or a king hit.
And there's a king. I think that... Did Pascal check the turn?
He did.
Pascal checked the turn, Dave. Wow. That's interesting.
And John got there.
And John was the pre-flop racer, so I mean, you bet the flop. He just called. He could easily just have overcards, right?
Right. Sometimes the old call on the flop and then planning to raise on the turn does slow players down.
Yeah.
Interesting email from David Petty, no relation to Tom Petty. Says, I think Scott the Fireman Kaplan will clean house on those guys.
Really?
Well, so far I like his game. I didn't like his call with the ace-4, but I liked his laydown with ace-7. Odd that he would lay down one and not the other.
Three-way action here. Queen, queen, 8.
John's got the best hand now. He's got ace-jack. He always had the best hand, actually. Just makes him even stronger.
Wow, and the river's a jack, and John fills up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure John's got this one.
And what was Scott in there for? He called the bet on the turn? Well, I think actually
It got checked.
John checked
and
Scott.
Scott,
Yeah.
Scott took a shot at it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Didn't work, obviously. Limit Hold'em is actually a real challenge for us and our staff because of how fast the action is. You know,
Right.
it just checks around real quick and then raise and then 4 people call real quick. People don't seem to take as much time to make decisions
Re-raise.
as in no limit, obviously.
Got a raise here by Scott with ace-4 offsuit. And seat 9's going to 3-bet it with pocket 8s.
It's the old isolation with the middle pair.
2 players. Yep.
And he's in good shape here.
Till that ace comes out. But here's
Yeah.
the problem, Dave, with raising with an ace in early position. Especially if you get 3-bet. Boy, you're almost in just check-call mode here, aren't you? I mean,
You have no idea where you're at.
yeah. Again, if he's got pocket 10s, pocket queens, pocket jacks, pocket kings, ace with a better kicker, you almost need to can fold here. The only thing you're hoping for is
To
the
be
guy
honest
has
with you-
9s or 8s, right?
Yeah, I'd almost rather bet that turn, and if I get raised, I can throw it away.
Right.
Look at that.
Just gets checked down on the
Yeah,
river.
but the 8's made a straight.
Oh, that's right. He made the bottom end of
He
straight.
backed it to the straight.
Well, I don't understand why you don't bet the end there if you're the eights. If
You
your
have
guy checks
to.
to you on the river, he doesn't have a king.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
I mean, the funniest thing is he bets the eights. He bets the eights on the turn, right?
Right.
But then when he actually gets there with the 9,
Right.
he checks it.
But I mean, ace-4 just can't beat anything out there, can it? Except for 9s or 8s, right? Or 7s.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever
that's
someone would three-bet.
just a middle pair that somebody might 3-bet and try to isolate. And that's a common play at middle levels, and as you go up, obviously, is to try to 3-bet with your pairs and isolate somebody. And you've got to mix it up. Now, I know some players that will only 3-bet with big pairs
Right.
or middle pairs, and will never 3-bet with ace-king or ace-queen.
Right.
A player like Shan, for example, she almost never re-raises with ace-queen or ace-king. So it's one of those plays where if she 3-bets me, and Shan's one of the pretty tight
props here.
If she 3-bets me and an ace falls, I can represent it almost every time.
Yeah.
Because I'm almost positive. Now, there's once in a while she'll actually have aces, but it's obviously not very often.
10-6 deuce here with a couple spades.
And Owen does not continue betting that, huh?
Turn is a 9.
Now, 4 ways. This is a $64 pot.
Checked around
Checks
again.
And ace queen's the bet. And Owen's going to bet now?
Now he's going to bet, Dave. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, he takes it down.
He had the best hand.
Thank you very much.
Dave, have you ever had a beef brisket sandwich before?
Beef brisket?
Yeah.
I have.
You have. Because I just had one.
Well, brisket is, great. I love brisket. You just had one where?
Here.
Really? Was it any good here?
It was.
Oh. I actually had one of my,
It's usually served with like a sweet barbecue sauce, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can be.
Okay. All right.
And it's almost like a real tender beef, right?
Yeah. Almost like a hot roast beef. I've never had the opportunity to go to the Carnegie Deli in New York. I'm sure you have, right?
I have, yeah.
Do they serve?
Of course.
Yeah.
There's actually a great place downtown
wow, pocket
LA.
aces for seat 9.
And they chop it.
Yeah.
Downtown LA actually has a great Jewish deli, New York Jewish deli that has a great brisket.
Yeah, the sandwiches at the Carnegie Deli, are they really that big, like that you can't finish them, or are they...
Oh, I mean, I could finish them. I mean, you got to. It's a big, it's a big
And are they like
sandwich.
$15, like a sandwich or something like that?
I think so. I mean, I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't eaten there in a couple of years. It might be more. Who knows?
Oh, really?
Maybe somebody watching in New York can tell us. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty expensive. I mean, you got to think of the location too.
Right.
You're in New York City, prime location. I mean, a regular sandwich might be $20 in New York.
Get a raise here by Scott with Jack 10 offsuit. Now, Owen is just called with any 2 cards on the blind, Dave. Another kind of beginner mistake, right?
Stefan too. He called it
Excuse
8-3
me, that's
before.
what I meant. I meant
Yeah.
Stefan. Queen deuce. That's who I was referring to. I
Yeah.
thought Stefan had
Oh, okay.
9-3.
But I don't mind Scott's raise here. He's on the button with Jack 10. Now if it gets checked to him, he should take control of the pot and win it right here.
If he bets here, he should take it down.
That's the power of control. Nice play by Scott. Raise the flop. Get people with inferior hands and bad holdings to call.
Yeah.
And, use your position when it gets checked to you.
Have you heard of Shanghai Reds in Marina Del Rey before? That restaurant?
Shanghai? No.
No.
What is it? Is it a Chinese restaurant?
No, I think it's a kind of a seafood restaurant, but they do a brunch. A lot of people. There's a lot of brunches that go on in LA, in your own city, wherever you are out there, on a Sunday morning. Champagne brunch.
Oh,
All
yeah.
you can eat. Oh, yeah.
There's actually a place on Beverly Glen, I want to say. I went there for Mother's Day last year. The brunches are outstanding. Sunday brunch. All you can drink mimosas.
People know who I am. Yeah,
I had this champagne called Wyclef Champagne, which was
won't be surprised.
actually not bad. King, Queen, 6 here.
Couple of carts there. Hearts, sorry. Scott's got, actually, I thought Scott had hearts there. He does not.
Alan's got top pair.
He bets it.
I think he raised.
Now, is Alan in this game?
Scott bet and Alan raised, and now Alan picks up trips. Why did Scott call? And now it goes check, check, and now Alan's going to bet. Thinks Alan was going to check raise the turn there. And look at this. Scott's going to raise, and Alan calls.
Yeah.
So Scott was trying to make a move there on the river, Dave.
You like Scott's like, you call? Oh, shit.
Chips.
Alan is playing this game so that we can critique his game.
I wonder. Is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah, he came up to us.
You know, it's interesting there. I've seen a lot of players do that. Now, Scott maybe did this because he was going to set up a play. Who knows? But I've seen a lot of players do that where in position, they'll bet at it. Okay, that's fine. And then when they get check raised, they go, oh, well, I got to take one off.
Right.
But you're taking one off for what? I mean, in that case, the flop was king, queen, 6. You
Right.
have 8-7. What are you going to catch that you're going to be like, oh, now I like my hand? What, are you going to catch a 9 and be open-ended and then you want to take another one off?
Dave, how about Jackson Brown's Going Home or the Extremes Get the Funk Out for walkaway music?
Okay. I'm not a big... I like Jackson Brown, but I think Jackson Brown's a little, low-key for the show. But funk out. Now, get the funk out. That might work.
3 players.
Got a raise here. I think it was it Eric there? Seat 6 with pocket 8s.
It looks like everybody that has 3s always flops a set.
Oh, yeah, Rudy's got a set and he checks it.
Jackie.
Eric's going to bet. Well, Harold's got a gut shot.
Preview.
Well, I still might put some money in there. That
That's a
pot
ding.
check raise with 3s. Turns a 5.
Well, now what do
third
you do?
spade, yeah. He's going to check again. I don't think 8s are going to bet. No, of course not. And the river's a 4 now. Anyone with a deuce would have a straight.
Now 3's held up here, but I mean, how do you not check raise the flop?
Yeah.
And now nobody can call.
Either check raise the flop or go right at him. Bet into him, have him raise you with ace king, 3-bet him, just jam, jam, jam.
I mean, think about it. The only cards that he's going to get paid off on is if a jack comes and he loses, or if an 8 comes and he loses.
Right.
I mean, he certainly made the minimum on that set, huh?
Yeah. It's a nice hat, though.
He certainly made the minimum on that one. Nice hat, though.
Right.
That's classic. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing Limit Hold'em tonight. Limits are 8 and 16. It's a 4-8 structure game.
Right.
And the chips are $2 chips, those green ones. The pots are routinely, I'd say, $80, $100.
Four players.
4-way action here.
Suited ace for Stefan in seat 9.
9-6 deuce rainbow.
Now, and look at this. And Stefan's going to call with ace-5 of diamonds.
Again, and Rudy calls with Harold calls with king 6.
Well, Harold has the best hand.
Turns a 3. Now Stefan's got, the back. He's got a straight draw and a diamond draw. Look at this. He makes a running wheel.
Yeah.
And anyone else with the 5 would, actually, he doesn't have a wheel. He's got a 6-high straight.
Right.
And now he's going to bet. Wow, that's amazing.
But it's interesting. Yeah, you look at the flop, you go 9-6 deuce. I have ace-5 of diamonds. What are you hoping for? Are you hoping for a 3 of diamonds? I mean...
And Rudy just tried to bet there on the river. Stefan raised him, and I don't think he can call here with ace-high, can he? Although the first hand of the night we saw him make a call with ace-7. He's gotten raised here on the river.
Can you call it raise here, though? I mean, you're pretty sure that somebody backed into a better hand than you have.
Well, the other funniest thing is that any ace-high would have you beat, because anything lower than ace-7 would have a piece of it, or a straight, right?
Right, you could only beat a king-high bluff.
Right.
Good point. Yeah, ace-6,
ace-5 is ace-6 is a pair, ace-5 is a straight.
Yeah.
4,
ace-7
3
is
deuce.
pretty much the worst hand you can have.
Right. Button moves over here to seat 3.
Well, listen, we're getting all sorts of great ideas for our going home music.
Yeah. A couple of high pink cards here.
Sixes for Stefan. He's got a couple of black 6s.
King Jack suited for seat 3. King Queen off for Al in seat 1. Oh, there's a queen.
Wow, big flop for seat 3. He's
Yep.
flopped a straight.
All right.
And look at this. Queen 10's got top 2 pair. And Allen has top pair.
With a king kicker and the king of spades in his hand, too.
Now, somebody bet right into Al, and he just called. I think I might have popped it up there with King Queen, Dave. But he just calls. Harold raises. Excuse me, maybe, you know what it was? I think that Al actually initially bet.
Okay.
Seat 2 raised with the straight. John is just going to call with top 2. And now Al is really overplaying his hand. He's going to 3-bet with king queen. But he does have a straight draw and backdoor spades, capped by Harold with the nut straight.
See, now that's Harold capping it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm throwing my hand away.
And Rudy's in there with an open-end straight draw. But why wasn't John jamming with queen 10 there? This is amazing.
Now, amazingly here, nobody's really got spades.
Yeah.
Everybody's probably scared of spades, and spades are not scary.
Turn is a 6.
Now, that would have been interesting. There were, remember, Stefan had a
Right.
set of 6s. He would have turned a set of 6s.
And again, now Al's still going to bet here. He bets after Harold capped it. And
And
Harold's
Harold's
going to
gonna-
raise again.
Look at this, and Rudy's still in there.
He's got open-ended straight draw.
Yeah, so?
And John's just going to call. Again, he just calls with top 2. And the river's a jack.
Oh.
And Al makes a straight, and he's going to chop it up with Harold.
Wow. And that's got to be the worst card in the deck for Harold. Harold's got to be sick there. It's a jack of spades.
Wow.
And sometimes you just got to know your beat.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's Harold. Harold hasn't really gotten out of line all night.
Yeah.
You got to play the player.
I'm surprised that seat 7 was playing so passively, Dave, with that flop. I mean, if you're going to wait for maybe that's the case where you're going to wait for a safe card. There was a lot of action on the flop.
Right.
9-10.
And then a red 6
Red
comes off.
6 comes off.
Yeah.
I mean, are you checking and calling, trying to make
Well,
a full house?
I think he might have check raised the turn.
Yeah.
Had Harold not.
Yeah.
But then when Harold check raised, he went, wait a second, maybe my queen 10's not good.
Yeah.
But it's one of those cases where, you know, if you don't think your hand is good, then throw it away.
I got queen 10.
So we have an email here from William Hawkins. He says, use the Incredible Hulk piano music for the walkaway music. And make sure the guy's pretending to hitchhike on his way out.
Okay, that's great. Keep that in mind. Thank you for your emails. You can email us at live@thebike.com.
Yep.
We really do appreciate it.
I can't pick. I mean, Incredible Hulk came out, what, in the late 70s?
That green guy?
Yeah. I can't really picture what that music is. I haven't, that show isn't really on syndication anymore. Like,
6 on the turn.
it's,
You know I'm going to pay to see the river.
like it's not on TV land.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, I
didn't
did
see
not
the
see the movie. No, I had no desire to see that movie. I gotta tell you.
Came out a couple of years ago, right?
I know.
Summer 2003.
The
movie was okay.
Didn't do it for me.
You don't seem like the type of big time action guy. Like
No, I
action.
love some
Really?
a good
Like
action movie. I love. I just don't want to see bad action movies.
No. 6 Deuce 5. Are you a big Howie Long fan when it comes to action movies?
Oh yeah, Howie Long. I've got all his movies, the whole collection.
He's done quite a bit of them.
Oh yeah, without it, I've got his posters, his movie posters up by my bed.
Up over where your wife sleeps.
No, where I sleep.
Turn here's a 9. Eric led out with Jack 6.
He's still good.
Scott's gonna call. Scott called the flop with King 8, and he's called the turn here. Well, he's picked up a gut shot. The river's a jack.
Yeah,
And
Eric's
now
made
Eric
two
has
pair.
2 pair. What is Scott calling the flop with, Dave? King 8?
Well, backdoor diamond draw. And those are the bets that you lose when you throw 4 chips here and then 8 chips here and 4 chips here and 8 chips here, and you kind of wonder at the end of the night, you go, man, I thought I had a good night, but I broke even, or I lost a little bit. And you wonder, and you go, well, if I wasn't chasing with nothing, maybe I would have actually won some money. Yeah, there's some great action movies that, out there that I absolutely love. Mission Impossible was cool. I'm trying to think of the most recent action movies, but if you go back in time, there are hundreds of movies. But I don't consider the Hulk.
Terminator?
Yeah, that was a cool action movie. But the Hulk?
Halfway. I mean,
Come
halfway
on.
so far.
4-way action.
That's not even like a wait for video one.
Okay.
Ace Queen 5.
On Golden Pond? That was a killer action movie. The way they went out there and caught that fish.
2 players.
Walter.
Turn is a 3 here.
Owen's
gonna
got
bet.
yeah. Oh well, he's got the ace. Why not?
Look at the stacks of chips he has in front of him.
Yeah, he's got $800 just in the stacks there.
River's a king. Check, check. And Owen's going to take it down there with top pair, ace 4. Now, Dave, there's always a debate whether sometimes the people who play low-limit games will come out and say, well, you've got to read, Small Stakes Hold'em, which was a book that's, written specifically about loose passive play.
Right.
And in that book, in a very, very loose passive game, I think it was Ed Miller that wrote the book, says that you can come in with, like, say, ace X suited in a late position. I don't play that in the mid-levels. I guess if the game isn't, prone to a lot of pre-flop raising, you might be able to play it.
It all depends on the
but I
game
guess
you're playing
it
in,
depends
right?
on the table,
If you're playing a nice passive game where 7 people call every single flop and it's
Right.
never raised,
Right.
sure.
Right. But it's amazing how many people will limp in, like, say, in the mid-level games that are tight aggressive, like ace 4 suited.
I see people limping in the mid-level game. You see people limping in at a 20 game or a 30 game. People limping in under the gun
6-8
with, like,
suited.
how about king 3 suited? Queen 6 suited. You're like, what?
Harold bet out here with kings. He's got trip kings. Excuse me, I think he checked. Scott's taking a stab at it. Let's see if Harold's going to check raise. No, I think that Harold thinks that Scott's just bluffing the whole way. He's going to play it, just try to induce a bluff every time. Well, now a spade comes out, and now he's going to bet. He's going to bet when he could be beat now. Check, call, bet when the third spade comes.
I think Scott's trying to outplay these players a little bit too much. And this is pretty much straightforward poker.
Yeah.
There are plays you can make in limit hold'em, but not that many, especially at this table.
Here, how about Brian Smith here? Email us. Queen, another one bites the dust.
That's great.
Did I say that?
Good suggestion.
And another one.
Right, you're reading my mind.
Go ahead, Bart. Sing it, man. Let it go.
Another one bites the dust.
To me, when I'm playing limit hold'em or no limit hold'em, but I generally want to look for an excuse not to play a hand in early position. If I'm under the gun or in first or second position, I don't want to play a hand. I want to look for an excuse not to enter the pot. And if I'm in the cutoff seat or if I'm on the button, I want to look for a reason to enter the pot.
Raise it.
But hey, that's just me. We got to raise out of seat 4 there. Rudy is going to raise it up with 9-9.
Yes.
He's got a 9 of diamonds and a 9 of clubs in his hand.
Full range.
Gets called by Scott, I want to say, with king 5 offsuit.
Friendly now.
Wow, wow. Harold's going to call it ace queen. And you see Stefan in there with jack 5. Any 2 cards, huh? And look at that. Scott has outflopped them all with a king 5.
Okay.
Not a terrible flop if you have 9, so only 1 overcard.
Re-ray.
Now with 2 clubs out there, you wonder if Rudy maybe thinks Scott is going with the clubs here. But Rudy's in bad shape here. He needs a 9 and only a 9. And it goes check, and wow.
Yeah, he said that last week.
And Rudy's going to bet.
No.
And I assume Scott is just going to call this. Yeah, he doesn't have a great kicker. Turns a jack. And this is a case where if I have the 9s, I'm not going to bet it. Not much value in betting this, because if the guy has only clubs, he's not going to pay me off. And if he has only clubs, he's not going to pay me off. And if he has a king, well, I can't beat the king. Now, there's a chance that he's been calling me down, let's say ace 8. Something like that, or even ace 7. And at some of these levels, people will pay off. In that case, I guess it's pretty much just a check basis there. Button, I believe, is in seat 8. That's Scott. Small blind is Stefan. He's in there for 2 chips. That's $4. Big blind is Alan, seat 1. Now, if Stefan's in the small blind, that means no matter what the raise is, he's going to call. There's a chip count there. Owen is in the lead there with $840. Pretty impressive. 4 racks. Wow.
7 players.
7 players. This is low to mid limit extraordinaire there. Here we go. 7 players times $8, $56 pot. Flop is 5-4 deuce rainbow. Seat 6 actually C6, I want to say that's John. It's Eric, actually.
Two of you.
Eric has actually flopped top pair.
Oh, the turn's a 4.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, he has overpair. He has
Overpair
sixes.
to the board.
Yeah, I thought he had 6-5.
Scott
Ace
is
King's
gonna
still calling.
Yeah. River's a 10.
Now, Scott decided he actually limped in on the button with Ace King.
It's a little bit strange.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, you know, but the other thing though too is that I guess it's a combination of a couple of things. Because if you've got to, sometimes at the mid levels, 30, 60, 20, 40, when the game is playing very, very loose passive, some people will make the case and say, we don't necessarily want to raise with high unsuited cards. That maybe you just limp in with Ace King, but at the same time, Ace King is Ace King. You might just want to raise for value anyways, because it's the
to
best
me,
hand.
it's positive EV, and I say EV expected value.
Now, what about Ace Queen offsuit on the button?
I
Say
still
6
think
people are limped
In
in.
an unraised pot, I still think I have the best hand.
Yeah.
Raise it.
And in the long run, I'm going to make money on that play. I want more money in the pot.
Where's the threshold? Ace Jack? You let?
I don't know. I mean, you got to start thinking about the play in the game. I might even raise with Queen Jack on the button.
People are coming in with all kinds of crap.
Exactly.
Yeah. 5-way action here. 6-4 deuce. Owen's got a flush draw.
Allen's open-ended.
Well, Stefan raised.
Raise it.
And he's going to raise here with overcards. Backdoor flush draw. Re-raise there by Allen.
I mean, to me,
Now
at the
there
lower
you go.
levels,
Now there you go, Dave. Allen's re-raising with an open-ended straight draw to drive everyone. He bet out the button raise, and he 3-bet with this draw.
Now, but let me ask you this, though. This might be one of those cases where if he catches a 7, he
It might be
might
good.
think he's good, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
But normally, I mean, you're not going to do that with draws.
Right, like if the flop was Ace 6-4, I certainly
Right.
wouldn't want to do it.
Right.
Or King 6-4. And Allen's in bad shape here. I mean, Allen needs a 3 or an 8. That's not.
Well, here's the other thing, too. Chasing
not a heart.
open-ended straight draws. 2 flush out there.
No, I made a 3-bet.
He just moved on.
You get yourself in trouble here.
Oh, there's the flush.
Owen has gotten there. And Allen's going to
He's
keep
going to
betting.
keep betting. Let's see if Owen raises here. Owen is going to raise. And Stefan's going to call here. He's got the nut heart draw, right, Dave?
I mean, I think Allen's fallen into the trap of playing a little looser in a limit game because it's only limit. And I can only lose $8.
Now, obviously, he knows he can fold. A bet, a raise. 2 callers. John called with Jack 3. I think
He
John might be
called.
out. Allen called with 3 hearts out there? 5-7? That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a terrible play by Allen.
And the river's a 5.
Let's see if he pays him off with a pair of 5s.
No, I don't think so.
Can't blame Stefan because Stefan's got the ace of jacks.
Well, maybe now Allen's the only one that can contest for the side pot. I don't know. He didn't call, Dave. No, yeah, Allen's got to really lay that one down. I mean, he bet into the turn a raise and a call in between.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
But I
You've
mean-
got to know then, like you said, that not only are you're calling a double-sized bet on the turn, you know when someone else calls that someone has to have it hard. So
Right.
you're drawing to 6 outs with a double-sized bet. You're calling cold right there on the turn.
And it might not even be good.
Right.
You might be drawing dead. I don't. Like I said, I mean, I really think he's falling into the trap.
And he was drawing dead.
I think he's falling into the trap of playing too many hands
Yeah.
and playing them too loose because it's a limit hold'em, and a lot of players do that. It's one of the reasons we love limit hold'em.
Well, a lot of people, I think, sometimes when they learn Hold'em as a game, like No Limit Hold'em. Actually, had a buddy of mine who plays a lot of No Limit Hold'em told me this. He's like, boy, you play Limit? Boy, I would just limp in with probably any hand in Limit, right? And I was like, no, it's actually the opposite.
It really should be, yeah.
It's you have to play tighter in Limit. Now, Allen's going to 3-bet with Jack 10 of spades. Again, a hand that I probably want to have many people in there with, Dave. And Stefan's going to cap it with Ace 9.
And Scott's in there with Ace 4.
Well, Scott brought it in with Ace 4.
Well, Allen's probably a favorite if you put these 3 against each other right now. Well, not anymore, he's not.
8-9-4.
Actually, he's still in pretty good shape. He's open-ended.
He's open-ended with overcards. Allen's going to bet. Stefan raises. Look at this. Allen, he's just jamming through it. He's going to 3-bet.
Well, I don't mind. At this point here with 2 callers, I don't mind jamming.
Now look at Scott. Ace 4 with the Ace of Clubs. He's in there. What a big pot we've got here. Well, the turn's a 6. Scott's picked up the nut flush draw.
And that's another time where if you're Allen, you really got to get away from it. Because you're not sure if a jack of clubs hits, a 10 of clubs hit, a queen of clubs hit,
Well,
or a
could
7
the
of
pot
clubs
be?
hit.
Yeah, but the pot might be big enough here where you can call one bet for 6 outs, Dave.
Yeah, but it might not be good.
No, I know, but for
What are you
6
drawing
outs,
to?
That's what I'm saying. Drawing to a non-club straight card here at the end,
Like that?
and there it is, the non-club straight card.
Okay. And hope nobody has a flush.
But I see what you. I mean, you could be drawing dead already.
You could be drawing dead.
Yeah.
At that point, with all that action, you can't think your jack or your 10 are good. And that's what entices people when they hold and they see this huge pot. They go,
Right.
wow, you just got to stay to the river and get lucky.
Yeah.
Blind squeeze.
Man.
You know, it's funny, sometimes people post up, I think someone posted up on 2+2, do you think these players would get killed at the 50-cent $1 games on Party, which is what they call micro limits. I haven't really played in micro limit games on the internet, but if these micro limit games are frequented by people that multi-table and play a lot, then it probably is better play than this game, right?
I'd imagine. I mean, yeah, I can't speak. I've never seen the 50-cent $1
No, neither
game.
have I, yeah.
I've played as low as 3-6, but I've never played the 50-cent $1 game.
Pocket jacks here for
And that's not
Owen.
not necessarily because I'm above it or anything. It doesn't mean anything like that.
Right.
It's the level that I play at.
King 10-3 here with a couple clubs.
Jack's still good. And he bets it and takes down. You know, I think a lot of people, when they start playing Limit Hold'em, they start moving up. You know, I mean, I remember the first game I played was 4-8 at the Bellagio. And then when I came back to L.A., I would play 3-6. And then I slowly moved up to 6-12, 9-18. You know, and then now, obviously, and now I'll play up to 81-60.
Pocket kings here for the button.
Well, that's Harold.
Wow, we get a raise here by seat 7,
Yeah.
ace 10, a 3-bet by pocket 4s. Allen's going to call with pocket 8s. King 9 of hearts is going to cap it. Wow.
Sign for seat 3, please.
And actually, excuse me, Dave, Allen capped it with pocket 8s.
How to look at it.
Allen capped it. Owen calls. Harold calls with
5
kings.
players.
I mean, is that the type of hand that you want to cap with, Dave? Pocket 8s?
I got to be honest, if somebody 3-bets it to me and I have 8s, I'm throwing them away.
Yeah. 5-way action. Capped.
Well, there's a set of 4s.
Set of
Scott.
4s. So 2 people have overpairs here, and you know that the 2 overcards aren't going anywhere. King 9 and ace 10.
Allen's going to raise. He ain't going anywhere. And look at Owen.
Owen's going to call.
Well, sometimes this crazy play can
Harold
be contagious.
just calls. Harold just calls, and Scott's going to jam it. Why not with a set of 4s?
Well, like I said, I mean, sometimes when the play gets almost crazy like this, it gets contagious. You can see pot after pot after pot like this.
Turns a queen.
What is Owen in there with?
8.
Just
Scott-
overcards?
Scott's going to bet. And Allen's just crying calling here, but the thing is he's got 2 people behind him. Is Harold just going to call? Harold's just in conservative mode here, Dave. I think he might be scared the guy's got aces. And the river is a 10. Scott's going to bet again.
Scott actually 3-bet it before the flop with 4s.
He did. Allen calls.
Allen calls.
And you throw pocket kings away sometimes in this spot, Dave.
Yeah,
Allen's
sometimes
gonna call.
it's hard in this game, though,
Yeah.
the way you've been watching this game for the last little bit. He's actually
He's
going to raise.
raising.
Yeah.
He's raising with kings. He thought he was waiting to the river to raise. He's played it like he's got queens or 10s, Dave. Set of queens or 10s.
Well, you know what? He's been watching the way.
the hell?
Well, he's been watching the way Scott, Allen, and Stefan have played, and he figures, this guy could have ace 5.
Let's think about how big that pot was. 5-way action pre-flop. Cap. So that's
80.
about 100 and, well, that's...
Oh, I'm sorry, $32. $32.
Yeah, that's
$160.
$160. On the flop, there were 3 bets in there, like times 4.
Four.
You know, that's about at least about another $100.
120.
And that's that's
300.
well over 270 plus
And then
all-
16,
yeah.
16, 16, and then raised in
Yeah.
the river. Yeah, you're looking at over $400 pot. And this is an 8-16 game.
I mean, Harold thought he was being clever and racing on the river with his overpair, single overpair. It's amazing.
And that's the one thing about these limit games. You can literally win one, if you're patient enough, you can literally win one hand an hour and make money. I mean, look at the pot. It's going to take them 2 hours to stack those chips.
7-5-5 here. Owen's got a flush draw on C2. He bets.
Eric's
going to fold ace-queen. That's something you don't usually see at that level either. But normally in an unraised pot, Dave, with not many people in hand, if you just have overcards, you just want to be done with it. I mean, if you're not going to bet it, there's really no reason to chase, right?
Yeah, I think calling with overcards and limit hold'em is one of the biggest mistakes people make.
Especially on any type of draw-heavy board, or any board where the board is paired. You
also get yourself in trouble sometimes. I mean, I'd rather raise it and take control of the pot, but if I'm going to call there, you get yourself in trouble sometimes. Let's say I have ace-king. Flop comes out 9 high, and the other guy got lucky, but he has ace-9. And now I catch my ace, and now he has 2 pair. I mean, you don't know where you're at.
Look at the seat 8's put his cards in seat 7's window there, Dave. His chips are all over the window.
3 players.
And he calls. He's got ace-9. So ace-7 of spades there. That's Rudy who made the raise.
Sixes are still good here.
Alan bet right it. He bet right into it. Queen deuce 3.
And Rudy calls with overcards.
Well, with 1 overcard.
Right. Well, yeah. 2 overcards to the sixes, but he doesn't know. He has no idea what Alan has.
Now Alan's in really good shape here. One of the other aces is dead. Well, the turn's a king. Let's see if that's going to slow him down. Now he's going to bet it again, Dave.
What kind of massage is that? Gosh.
Like, it doesn't look like it would.
C7 miss, okay?
They're real close.
Thank you, Blitz.
Button is in seat 6. Seat 7 is actually taking a break. That's John. And this game is not, I mean, like I said, 8-16. You can easily, very easily win or lose $400 or $500. You know.
That moves over to seat 6.
Correct.
Looks like they're going to chop this one down, Dave. Well, again, my question always is how much can you... Well, maybe these guys don't chop.
Wait, are you kidding
Wait a minute, this guy chopped before. I remember. He's got aces this time, and he's not going to chop. Because remember, Dave, seat 9 had aces, and he did chop with him.
He did.
Earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such that's such crap. Wow.
The only thing I'll
Oh,
say,
look at that. Oh, I thought he flopped trips for a second.
the only thing I'll say is if a guy, okay. Remember, folks, leave your ego at the door.
Wow.
If a player to your left chops the entire day, and then 1 second goes, oh, I'm not chopping this time, fold your hand. Because they probably have aces or kings.
But
just never chop with them again. Okay?
That's crazy. Because he had aces before, Dave, about an hour ago. The guy in seat 9 had aces.
But don't let your ego get involved. 'Cause sometimes people get mad and they go, you bastard, you chopped the whole day. Forget it. I'm going to call your raise and try to beat you. But generally, you know, they're going to have a big hand like in this case.
That's happened to me before, Dave, and you're right. You just got to let it go.
Right. And now I just know, like the guy Scott there, if I play in a 20 game with him or a 15 game with him or a 30 game, I just know he doesn't chop.
Well, yeah.
And I won't chop with him.
I mean, it's such a Bush League thing to do because you're expecting to chop. So basically, you know if you have a bad hand, you can chop. But if you have a good hand, I'm going to raise, which is such garbage. You know
The best thing you can do, actually, if you're in position with a guy like that, is you go, every single time it gets to him, you go, you want to chop? And the guy goes, oh, yeah, let's chop. I go, nah, I raise. Because that way you know he has crap, obviously. Play it back at him.
And there's nothing that really the house can do about that, right? There's no rules governing any of that
No
stuff.
rules at all. That is kind of just... Once again, it's just gentlemanly. It's just, play with some ethics. Pasquale is flop trips here.
Yep. Ace, jack, ace. It's a rainbow board.
Alan's got a jack. Let's see if he gets himself in trouble.
He's going to bet it, though.
That's the problem. He bet it and he got called. Now what do you do?
Turns a 5.
Oh, he's picked up a diamond draw now. He's going to check and call now.
Yeah, check call. The river's a 6.
Well, he's made 2 pair, but that's no good, obviously.
He's going to call all the way with the jack, and the ace is good there. And I got to be honest with you, I think you said the same thing too. We chop, David and I chop in limit games because, part of our job as a prop is kind of promotional.
Well,
No,
we're theoretically we're called public relations props.
And we're not going to.
players.
And the other thing, too, is I don't want to necessarily play with somebody and bust you or bust some of the other props I play with
Bust
every day.
me. Yeah, that is funny.
You know the point I'm trying to get
I know,
at.
I know.
Your coworkers. And a lot of times you might be in a game where you're playing with other props. If I go to a different casino, I don't chop. Because the whole point of chopping, I mean, in a game like this, or in the 6 game, it makes sense because in this game, the rake and the jackpot is the same as it is in the 30 game. It's 4 plus 1. So it's a big percentage. If you're just going to limp in, it makes sense to chop. But in the 30 game, you've got you've got $60 in there.
Yeah.
I mean, in this game, you've got 16 and they're going to take, almost
To be honest with you, I don't think that highly of myself. It's not like I think my shit doesn't stink. But to be honest with you, I would rather play against everybody.
Right.
Because against the average player, heads up, I'll take my edge. I'll take the chances.
Yeah, I saw that.
I actually had this situation. I was playing No Limit the other day, and I told this guy I don't chop, and the guy is trying to plead with me, and he's like, "Why don't you chop? I don't understand it. You save money and you do this." Finally, I just couldn't stop it. I go, "Listen, I don't chop because I think you suck, okay? And I want your money." I didn't know what else to say to the guy though.
Well, No Limit. I mean, No Limit's different too because you're dealing with the guy's entire staff as opposed to Limit.
Right. But I was trying to be diplomatic. I mean, I was trying to tell the guy.
Oh, there's a busted card there.
Yeah.
4-way action. I think Eric. He's got the best hand now.
Well, big flop for John though. John has flopped a flush draw, a straight draw,
Look
and
at
a straight flush draw.
Owen's got bottom 2 pair in seat 2, and he's going to raise.
And Eric's got top pair with a good kicker.
Yeah.
And
Rudy's
Rudy
out of
needs to
there.
get away very quickly.
Now, let's see what Eric does here. A lot of people would.
I mean,
3-bet
John's
there.
hand is big enough to raise with.
I mean, a lot of people would 3-bet there with ace queen, but he just calls. Well, it turns an 8. There's the straight.
No, that's actually not a straight. He had the gut shot.
Oh, excuse me. You're right.
Sorry.
I thought he was open-ended.
Yeah. No, it wasn't quite that big.
Yeah. He's got the open-ended now.
Yeah. With the spade draw.
And again, Eric is just calling here with ace queen, and the river's an ace, and it's a spade.
Yep.
So John makes the flush. Eric makes trip aces. Eric bets, and John just calls. And Owen overcalls, Dave. His hand got counterfeit. How do you overcall there with 7-5?
Yeah, if you're Owen, that's where you get rid of it there.
Yeah, you got
5-7, you look at it go. Because
Right.
right now, all Owen has is aces and 7s with an 8 kicker. His 5 doesn't even play.
Right.
You don't have enough.
I mean, you can't even beat a 7. At that point, you can't even beat king 7.
And John was all in there. I was wondering if John was just actually called the river, feeling that his flush might be deep, but he was all in.
I got you.
Um,
I mean, the funny thing is when I'm playing No Limit, or if I'm playing in a game and I don't want to chop with the guy, because No Limit I don't chop at all, I try to be diplomatic about it. I try to give the reasons why I don't like to chop.
right.
And I try to say to the guy, listen, it's not personal. I don't chop with anybody in No Limit, okay?
Right.
Even my best friends. So don't take it personal. This guy just would not take it. Wouldn't leave it alone, so.
Bottom 2 pair?
I had 7-5 suited, and I'm the big blind.
Oh, yeah, no.
So I go in and I flop the 7-5.
Otherwise, he fills up. You have to play your hand. I got my money in.
I'm not going nowhere. I got a straight flush draw.
I'm sitting here saying, don't show me an ace and don't show me a spade. I'm home free on this puppy.
Got both.
How about a queen?
So he gave me both.
How about an 8? Would an 8 help you?
No, I had a 7-5. 7 or a 5 would help.
Twink.
You would win an 8 would be good for you. Raise it.
Get a raise here. By the button. 8-9 offsuit. And he's going to take it down.
Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please email us at liveatthebike.com. We do enjoy them.
Button is over there in seat 2.
And if for some reason you've been kicked out of 2+2, you can email us still. We do check that out.
That is true.
3 players.
Yeah.
3-way action.
Uncensored emails.
9-7-5. All clubs there.
Yeah. Scott's got a Jack 10 there. Well, he's got 10 of clubs also, so his hand is the best hand here.
Got checked around now. He makes 2 pair now.
He's got 2 pair and the flush.
Yeah.
You done, George?
Now, interesting enough, Harold's got a straight. 7, 8, 9, 10 Jack.
Yep.
Is Harold going to pay him off? 4 clubs out there?
Looks like it.
Harold does.
10 clubs.
Takes it down. You know, it's interesting. There was also another thread that I was looking at over the weekend. A gentleman by the name of Garland who started this thread about Jonas' play. You know, Dave, when we're not on, when Live the Bike is not on, we run that highlight reel. And there was a hand involving Jonas and I think a guy named Frank many, many months ago.
Frank Mariani?
No, it wasn't Frank Mariani.
Okay.
I think it was Frank Hong.
Okay, I know Frank.
And I had actually miscalled the action.
What?
Jonas, yeah, exactly.
I can't believe it.
Jonas, I think I said that Jonas had called a check raise all in on the river with ace king high, but Jonas actually had moved in.
Oh.
So anyone who watches that highlight reel, that is my fault.
Well, obviously, we are live here. We're unedited, unscripted.
Yeah. John is raised here with pocket kings. 10-7-5.
Now, Pascal, he's actually got top pair. And so does Alan.
Yeah.
Alan also has a good shot here. I mean, if you're going to be in with 9-6 of clubs, it's not a bad flop for 9-6, huh?
Wow, we get a raise by Alan, and a re-raise by Pascal with 9-3, and John just calls. Now the turn's a queen. Pascal leads here again with top pair.
This is why you can't get rid of kings in this game.
Now John's going to raise, and now Alan really needs to know that his hand is, well, I mean,
yeah,
he
but the
does
problem,
have that
well, now
gut
he's
shot.
got a lot of draws. He's got any 8, any 6, any 9. He thinks, okay, I'm probably good.
Yeah. But Pascal calls. So here we go to the river. And the river is a 9, so 2 people make trips. See if Alan raises here at the end.
And now the kickers are not going to play. They both have 3 9s.
Now, if
with
you
a
get
queen
this
and
guy,
7.
this guy calls in between. I think you. No, he's not going to raise.
And this is a chop pot.
Yep.
And that's just a really bad beat. The case 9 comes on the river to kill the kings.
Yep.
Gotta be kidding me.
3 9s to the queen 7 kicker there, Dave. Well, I guess that Alan was just throwing in a crying call. I was wondering if you raise for value there in the end, even if you think it's chop, because the guy in between is called. But I guess, the guy can easily.
The problem is,
outkicked.
well, 10 9 and 9 8 actually play.
Right.
Which are hands that you might want to be in there with. Jack 9, 10 9, 9.
So look at that pot. Each stack is $40.
I mean, I think it's almost a crying call on the river.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
So that's 6 stacks. So that's splitting about $250. There you go.
And John gets just split up, gets carved up like a turkey.
Well, the other thing, too, that I wonder about this game, Dave, is how much can you beat this game for? Now, people say, oh, wow, look at that stack. I think that's Owen stack. People say a great hourly rate is to make one big bet an hour.
Depends on the game, though.
Now, in the 20 and the 30 game, that would be a good hourly rate. But I don't think that you can beat a 6-12 game with a $5 rake at $12 an hour. I think it's impossible.
I don't know about that.
8-16
really?
too?
It depends on the game you're in.
I mean, you got to look at the percentage, Dave, of the amount of money that's getting dropped out of these games.
Right, I understand what you're saying, but it depends on the game you're playing in. And a game that's really, I mean, if you're constantly picking the best games, let's say there's 8-16 games in the Vice Casino at any given time.
Yeah.
And you are really good at game selection. You're always picking the best games. You might be able to beat it for more than that. Who knows?
Dave, here's a family pot. 9-way action.
That's it?
All of our windows are covered here. I'm looking at the card window.
Wow. And boom, look at that. It's up already.
9 deuce 5.
Cap it.
All right,
We're missing one hand there.
This is going to be
There it
crazy
is.
here. 2 people have got ace 9. Owen's got an overpair.
John's got the spade draw.
Eric's got bottom 2 pair with deuce 5.
Man, talk about
And look at that. I think the action's over to Eric. He's trying to figure out if he wants to stay in. Is he going to muck deuce 5? He folds deuce 5, Dave.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
that is a very tight fold.
On the flop?
On the flop, he folded bottom 2 pair.
Well, all that action, he figured, somebody must have me beat. I don't know why.
And Owen's in the lead here. Scott's in there with ace-5. The turn's a deuce.
Well, and Eric, I just don't understand what Eric's doing.
Eric would have made a full house.
Well, how do you throw a 2-pair on the flop? I can understand the turn if you know the action is really, or if you're a no-limit hold'em and the action is real significant.
That's a great card for Owen if someone doesn't have a deuce here, Dave. If I'm not check raised, but it looked like Alan continued with control of the hand and Owen just called with the overpair. I think I might have raised there with
You
pocket
think maybe
tens.
Owen is?
And the river's a 6 and pocket 10s are good. And again, Stefan, has been betting. Alan calls, Owen overcalls, and he's going to take it down with pocket 10s.
Man, you wonder if Owen and Eric are sleeping together or something. I mean, what is that? How do you throw away 2-pair on the flop in a limit game? I mean, look at that flop. It's not like it's ace king 9 and you've got king 9.
Yeah.
It's 9-5 deuce with 2 spades. If you put one of your opponents on spades,
Yeah.
you put another opponent on ace 9 or 10-9. I mean, what are you putting somebody else on a set? Man.
Look at this, Dave. We got an email here from Judy Grimes. She says, you two are so full of yourself and it gets so old. Talk poker and not how great you are.
Hey.
Well, thank you very much, Julie, for that email.
Well, I mean, like I always said, the wonderful thing about poker is that anybody is open to criticism. We're always learning. We're always getting better. And obviously, when we criticize somebody or put our 2 cents in, it's just our 2 cents. It's only our opinion.
You are full of yourself, though, Dave. I have to agree
Okay.
there.
Well, that's fair enough. I have no problem with that.
Jack 5-7 with a couple of diamonds. Turn is a 6. Got checked around, it looked like.
Yeah, John's got the bottom pair with an open-ended straight draw now. Alan's got the same open-ended straight draw, but he's got only 4s.
Eric bets.
It's amazing Alan is in there with 4s now.
Yeah.
I mean, if an 8 comes off, you can't think it's any good.
Well, the river's a 5.
But John's got the best hand here now with trip 5s.
Wow. And Alan is going to bet here. It got checked to Alan, and he bets with pocket 4s. Is John going to just check? John just, I guess it's the third heart. Everyone was scared of it.
Yeah.
I think Alan knows that he's no good there. I mean, the thing with Alan is he's got to realize, and again, I don't know if he plays a lot of limit, maybe he's just messing around in this game, that bets on the river, people aren't going to fold a jack here in this game because it's the third heart.
Well, 3 players aren't going to do it.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. You're not going to bluff 3 guys out.
Yeah. And again, I mean, if we have the opportunity, Dave, to do a 20 or 30 game at some point, well,
we jump on it. If we can do a 60 game, we'll jump on it.
Again, it's just the question of when we start, it's a little bit difficult to get a game on it.
Well, obviously, you can think of the time. Obviously, we're starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time out here. So we want to get the game down by 5:30, and obviously that's prime traffic hours.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And and a lot of people that play that game are like day crew or night crew, people that play in the day and people that play at night. That's a really odd time.
Well, I mean, the slowest time for most casinos, that's brick and mortar casinos, is pretty much 4 o'clock to 6.
Right.
So getting a game down there, and a lot of people start trickling in 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Look at this. Seat 9 raised with pocket 8s. Seat 4 re-raised. Seat 8 re-raised, and it's capped now. I think Stefan capped it with pocket 8s. Both players have overpairs.
Well, Rudy's not going anywhere.
6-6-5. A bet, a raise, a 3-bet, and now Rudy shuts down a
Stefan's
little bit.
no shutdown in Stefan here, huh?
Turns a deuce.
And he's still betting.
Well, Rudy shut down. Remember, Rudy was the one that raised the flop, and Stefan 3-bet, and Rudy shut down. And the river's an ace.
And he's still going to bet his 8s.
Well, jacks are good.
Ace might have saved you.
Nope. You were beat the whole way there, Stefan.
No, I grabbed the other way.
There you go. Takes it down.
I mean, Stefan played 8s like it was the nuts. I mean, he actually even said, he goes, the ace might have saved you. I mean, there's no chance your opponent might have 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, or kings?
Right.
Let's just dismiss that. There's no way. This deck has none of them. There is a game where we get rid of 9s, 10s. I want to say 8, 9s, and 10s.
Is that the Mexican poker game?
Yeah, there you go.
You've been to the rodeo.
They do that in Pan 9, too, don't they? Yeah, I think so. Pan 9, you don't have... Actually, in Pan 9, you don't have 7s, 8s, and 9s. Is that what you just said?
I think so.
7, 8s, and 9s you don't have a hand down.
Raise from Alan here, ace king. Stefan's got 7s. What? I mean, you might as well just put the whole stack in there, huh?
Let's see if he, no, he's just going to call. He's out of position. So 5-way action. Ace
He was
king,
out of position last hand. That
pocket
didn't change
7s,
anything.
pocket 6s, pocket 4s, and 5-8 suited. And look at that flop. Well,
Check.
Alan's got the ace king. He's going to bet. I don't think anyone can take off here, Dave. I mean, look at these hands.
Yeah, this should really be bet.
Oh, my. 7s and 6s call. Another amateur mistakes there.
Check.
Turns a 9. Boy, and now anyone with a 10. Look at that. Alan didn't bet.
Ace king.
And ace king is going to
Well, it's kind of scary. I mean, if somebody has king jack, queen jack,
Yeah. But again, another mistake
any 10.
people make there is that, I mean, obviously those guys are trying to peel to hit a set. Unless the pot is capped 8 ways, okay, you never have odds to hit a set when you know your pair isn't good right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Never.
obviously you have to know your pair is no good.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks.
Yeah.
At $200 a pop, he's got $1,200. And what were you saying? Beat this game for one big bet an hour? Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I mean, come on. These guys killing the game.
Raise it.
Seat 4 raises.
Four play.
Seat 8 and 9 call. And seat 4 looks like he's got pocket 8s.
Raise.
Al's got a bet here with 6-3. He's got one pair. Rudy raises.
2 players.
And we're heads up. Al against Rudy. Turns a deuce.
Now, this should go check, bet, fold.
No, but it went check, check, and Allen hits trips on the river.
Oh.
3-3.
Poor Rudy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if would Allen have folded there from a bet on the turn, though? I mean, you
I
never
don't know. I mean, he should fold, but I don't know if he would.
yeah, but there's so many people that just think that this guy, because he raised pre-flop, is just going to raise me with ace-king here on the flop anyways.
Okay.
You know, if I bet.
Right. Now, one thing interesting, you and I obviously being commentators, and Shirley as well, and anybody in the world that's a commentator of any sport or any, in this case, poker, obviously we put ourselves out there to be criticized.
Yeah.
And we welcome the criticism. So please, you can email us at live@thebike.com. You can live@thebike.com. Let us know what you like, what you don't like.
Raise.
Obviously, we're not perfect.
All right.
I mean, I'm about as close to perfect as you can get,
Right.
but
course.
not perfect. And obviously, I say that with a wry smile.
A wry smile, a grain of salt.
5 play.
5-way action here.
5-way action. $40 pot to the flop.
Looks like there's an ace on there. Yep, ace 5-7 and ace queen there in seat 8. Looks to have the best hand. No one bet. He didn't bet in position, Dave.
Amazing with all the action that's going on. How do
Yeah.
you not bet that?
I mean, I guess there are times to be tricky. I don't think at this table is one of them. You know.
Not when all the money's going in.
Yeah. Now Pascal bets here with nothing, and now Scott's going to raise. But the funny thing is, and wait a minute, does Pascal call with King 9? He thinks he has overcards to second pair there. Actually, I think he re-raised. He re-raised in seat 5, and Scott called. And the river's a 4. These guys are just. Sometimes they just get caught up in limit day where they just look at the look that Scott gave Pascal.
Yeah, well, Pascal, he kind of smiled. He kind of smiled. Yeah, there you go. He kind of smiled and turned it over like, "Oops, I got caught." Hey, I like the re-raise better than just calling.
Yeah,
You know, your first thing was, "Wow, was he just calling?"
yeah.
I said, no, he's re-raising. Well, you know what? I think he thought Scott was full of crap. So he figured, okay, I'm going to re-raise Scott, because Scott doesn't have anything. There's no way he'd check an ace in position. So I'm going to represent the ace. I guess in that case, it actually paid to slow play the ace, huh?
Raise.
That guy's stack's going pretty high.
Yep.
When you stack your chips, how high will you go?
I've had bad experiences, Dave. I don't go any more than with yellow chips 200 at the most.
You'll go 40 chips.
Right.
So 40 chips. That's as high
Queen
as you
4
go.
queen. But I don't usually do that because they'll just spill off. I mean, you know, look at me.
Some guy gets a massage.
Does it look like
and-
I look like someone who can stack my chips like in a neat manner? You've seen my handwriting, for Christ's sake. Right? It's a mess. The turn is a 3 here.
Yeah, Eric's got the ace of spades as well. Now, Alan's actually got the best hand right now.
He's going to fold.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, it was funny when you were saying limping in. I was amazed. I played the $1,500 limit event, the first tournament of the World Series this year, after the casinos won. I don't think you played it.
No, you played the first limit event.
It was the first event.
First event was actually 1,500 no limit.
No, it wasn't. It was limit, wasn't it?
No, the first event was a $1,500 no limit. I know because I
Right, you played 66.
Right.
Okay.
But it was the first limit event.
First limit event.
Yeah.
Guys are limping in with King Deuce suited under the gun. And I'm sitting there, and I think that actually, I got to be honest with you, I think that good, limit tournament play is actually, trying to play it really tight in the beginning, and then, adjusting and building your chip stack. I was amazed how bad some of these guys played limit hold'em.
Well, you got to play your opponents. You know, it's kind of like, especially in tournaments. And I even do it when I'm playing in a live game. I pick my targets. Mm-hmm. I pick the guys that I want to play against, and when it's their blind, sometimes I'll raise with less than stellar holdings because I want to play against them.
Right.
And I'm picking on that person particularly. Somebody who might call with a weaker holding, somebody who might be a little passive and lay it down if they don't hit anything. Basically anybody that... I like playing against predictable players. And if I view somebody as a very predictable player, I want to put money in against them because I know where I'm at least.
Five-way action. All diamonds, 6, 7, 10. Now Stefan's got top pair with the only diamond here.
Yeah, he's in good shape.
Alan's got a black 8, 10. And he's going to bet. And Stefan check calls here. Turns a king. Stefan also has that straight draw.
Stefan's hand is in great shape here.
I think Stefan's playing it cautiously because he doesn't think he has a high diamond. The river's an 8, and there's the straight.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get checked down. 9, 10 is good.
I mean, it's amazing. Stefan plays pocket 8s. Like,
I know.
Well, like it's the best hand in the world. But that hand he played pretty soft.
Right.
I mean, he actually has straight flush draw.
And actually, we get an email here from, how do you pronounce this guy's name here? Hafke Siegel? I actually knew about this. He's talking about Yosh Nakano, the host of our big white chip game, Dave. Because Yosh placed in the top 20 in one of the World Series of Poker circuit events, he qualified for the $1 million free roll that Harris holds.
Wow.
And Yosh finished 11th in the Tournament of Champions. Just 2 out of the money. 9th place paid $25,000. First place played $1 million.
Wow, so a big free roll, obviously.
Yeah.
And how many players were in that
I
tournament?
think it's like a little over 100.
Okay.
And it's actually good marketing for the World Series of Poker circuit events because I was actually discussing this with somebody today. It didn't seem like they were getting good turnouts for the circuit events because, circuit events are trying to compete with the WPT. But if they say, well, the top 20 in these circuit events are going to play in a big free roll at the end of the year, well, that's like, the WPT maybe.
It's kind of competing with the PPT.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I mean, it's about time. It's about time Harris, the World Series, and it's about time the World Poker Tour started giving back to the poker players.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're making enough money off us, About time they started giving free rolls.
I think Harold brought this one in for a raise with ace-jack suited.
Well, Steven is flop top pair. Look at that. Queen 5.
Steven bets, Scott calls, Harold calls, turns an 8.
Steven's picked up a diamond draw now, but so does Scott. And Scott's diamond draw's a lot better.
Look at Harold just keep coming, taking him off with the black ace-jack there. See the river. River's a 3. Looks like ace-5, queen 5 is good here.
Yeah. And that's one of the mistakes in limit play we see all the time. The guy with ace-jack against 2 opponents, taking 1 off, then taking 2 off. Yeah, you've got no pair, no draw.
Right.
I mean, you don't even know if a jack of diamonds or an ace of diamond comes off. It's a good. Thank you very much, Jay Bugsy Siegel. Appreciate it. Yosh Nakano, you can actually catch him playing in our Wednesday whale games.
Right. I don't know if he'll be back tomorrow. I assume it will be back tomorrow. That's interesting because Yosh doesn't have a lot of tournament success, Dave. I mean, he usually spends most of his time, dealing with cash.
And there it is. Look, High Limit Poker, hosted by Yosh Nakano. Yeah, he's a cash game specialist.
Oh, I don't have a jack button. Do you have a jack button? I don't have one.
He almost plays a little too tight.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have that loose, aggressive style that's so, seems to be so successful, especially in no limit.
Well, you've got in a tournament, you've got to gamble up a little bit. You got to be able to have a little gamble in you to be successful in tournaments. And I'll say, I mean, I notice myself when I play a lot of cash games and then I go play a tournament for the first time in a while, I notice that I'm playing it a little too tight. I've got to mix it up a little bit more.
There's John.
C3's playing 100 behind.
100 behind.
I'll tell you, it's one thing that's funny is right after the World Series ended, you know, being there for 6 weeks, I was really anxious to get back to LA. I was kind of sick of Vegas.
Yeah.
But, you know, now 3-4 months later, I'm like licking my chops to get back there now. Can't wait for the World Series.
I think the pot was limped around here. We got a flush draw and a couple aces out there. Ace 10, ace deuce. Stefan's got a flush draw. Seed 8 bet, and he's going to get a couple callers. So ace 10 is in the lead right now. It turns 7.
Yeah, well, Steven's picked up a pair now with his flush draw.
Yeah.
Stefan, sorry.
Scott bets, seat 9 calls, and Owen calls. And Owen checks blind here on the river. And the river's a 10. Now Scott's got 2 pair. He's going to bet again. Anyone with a 9 would have a straight here.
I like the bet, though. He's in position. One guy's already checked to me.
Well, there's a guy on the button.
Yeah, but why would he have a 9?
It's good.
I mean, what sense does that make? I'm gonna
It wouldn't make a lot of sense that anyone had a 9 there on that flop.
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess somebody could have, like...
Well, somebody could have a 9 in his club.
Yeah,
You know, king 9 of clubs.
something like that.
I don't want to automatically be scared of that, though.
And he did get paid off, though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he bet and he got paid off by a hand that was weaker. You know? So that was a value bet. Got a post here on 2+2 by Queen with a Tray. Says C2. Obviously, C2 is owning this game, David. But he needs to either color up or get some Raymer stacks going, because having 200 racks in front of him kind of looks lame. Kind of agree.
Well, look at all those racks, though. That's got to be a little intimidating, right?
Yeah. 4-way action here. Ace, Jack, 7. I think Raymer was the one that said on a recent episode of World Series of Poker that some people have got to go to big chip management school in terms of physically managing your chips in front of you.
Hey, unless you've had a lot of experience doing it, it's not the easiest thing.
No. Especially like maneuver. I mean, once you knock the whole thing over, it goes everywhere. I guess there could be worse things you have to deal with in a tournament besides managing your chips.
I got a queen eye.
Oh, I got jacks.
Stefan, I got queen high. That's not good? But no, it can be tricky. I mean, especially if you play a lot online.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you play your first brick and mortar casino, and you're at the final table, and suddenly you look down and you've got 18 or 19 stacks, 40 chips high of all these chips, and you start, it's like, you're trying to maneuver them through. And
Well, the other thing, too, is that, a lot of people that just play online and they don't have a lot of experience in brick and mortar casinos, I know it was with me, too, is that I definitely had a tendency to shake a lot when I had a big hand, and that's something that just kind of goes away over time. But I don't think I think it's something that inherently happens to a lot of people as they first, start to sit down.
Oh,
and play on the
definitely.
table.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a tell to look for.
Right. 3-way action here. Queen, Tray, Deuce.
Have you ever tried to shake now? To give off a tell?
No. I think that looks kind of fake.
Well, if you do it well, it doesn't.
Turn is a 4 here.
Ace-3 still has the best hand, huh? And Ace-3 is still the best hand.
Ace high.
Yep, Harold's going to take this one down.
3.
I mean, there are some things that's kind of funny. Like, I actually, I read Mike Haro's, Book of Tells and so forth. And sometimes in a tournament, I will try to, do opposites. Throw in like a bluff tell when I've got the nuts. Or the opposite, throw in a tell like I have it when, I'm bluffing. Actually, act strong when you are strong. Act weak when you are weak. And look at that, we've got a chip count.
Owen's got $1,200 in an 8-16 game.
I mean, he bought into this game. I think he's in this game for like $400.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up $800 in this game.
Crazy.
I am not.
And he almost knocked the entire stack over. It just got close.
Wow.
5 players.
He started with $440.
Yeah.
We're talking in 2.5 hours, he's up $760 in this game. How many big bets an hour is that?
A lot. Jack 10-7 here. A couple people have top pair and king queen there for seat 7. Seat 7 bets out with king queen open and straight draw over cards. Seat 9 raises with queen jack. Now that's really a great laydown by Pascal there. Jack 6 offsuit, a bet, a raise, and 2 people overcall.
Yeah.
Jack 6 of spades.
Top
This is
pair
no
with
good.
pair with no kicker.
Yeah. Turns at 3.
You figure, okay, maybe one of them is on a draw, maybe the other one's on a draw, but somebody's
Right.
got to have a real hand.
Now Stefan bets. Owen calls. Owen's got the flush draw. Rudy calls with 9-10.
Well, he just picked up a draw.
And the river's an 8, so it gives Rudy a straight, but Owen's got the nut flush.
Yeah.
And look at Rudy chase it, and he doesn't even know it's good because he didn't bet the river when he made his straight. I mean, that's one of those things.
And he's not going to raise.
Well, I mean, he checked the river when he made the straight. Owen bet, and he just calls. How can he raise? There you go.
That's kind of the problem with going for a gut shot straight draw with 2 hearts on the board.
Right. I
You
mean,
get
he did
there,
have a
you get there,
pair,
and you're
too.
still not good.
I mean, the other thing, though, too, about that board, though, I mean, even though he has a pair, if he hits his 2 pair, anyone with an 8's going to have a straight. So
Right.
that doesn't really have much value either.
When the only thing you really want to catch is a 10, and a 10 alone.
Right.
And then hope somebody else doesn't have a bigger 10.
Right. Or I guess an off-suited 8. But that's just 2 outs, right? Or 3 outs. He
Right.
caught the 8 of hearts there at the end.
I mean, it's tough enough already to hit your draws. When I
No
hit
one
my
wins it again.
yeah, when I hit my draw, I want to make sure it's good.
Right. I mean, look at Owen. He's going nuts over there. How many stacks can you have stacked together, Dave? I've never tried that. I mean, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many more can he put up before the thing just collapses over?
Well, let's see.
4
Maybe
players.
we'll extend the show a couple hours and just see how high Owen can go.
Wow, second nut flush flopped there for seat 6. King Jack of diamonds.
But
for Eric.
Stefan's got the ace of diamonds, so he ain't going nowhere.
And Scott bets with top pair 8-9. Stefan calls.
Well, Stefan's got a monster. He's got a pair of 3s
And
with the
Eric's
ace of
going to play it
diamonds.
slow. Eric's going to play it slow.
And that's one of those times why play it slow, because Stefan's going to call you the whole way.
Scott bets, Stefan calls, and now Eric's going to raise.
And I mean, Scott should lay this down.
Yeah. Scott does
and
lay it down.
Stefan calls with diamond draw.
So Eric needs to dodge a diamond here, and the river's a 10. There you go. Stefan does not pay him off with a pair
Okay.
of 3s.
Thank you.
Eric takes it down.
And obviously, you know, we're obviously talking about these players in somewhat critical manner in terms of like, oh, what should they be doing, what shouldn't they be doing. But obviously, these guys are recreational poker players. As long as they're having a good time and they're playing with their own money, who cares? As far as I'm concerned. These guys aren't professional poker players. You know, as long as they drive here safe, they drive home safe, and they have a good time, hey,
200 behind.
good for them.
Chop pot here.
That's interesting. Now I'm hearing that the Tournament of Champions, Kevin Matt's talking about the Tournament of Champions, but he's saying that they're adding players who didn't qualify.
Well, it's kind of like the PPT, right? Aren't there PPT exemptions given
See,
as
to
well?
me, that ruins it.
Yeah.
I don't think any player should get an exemption.
Yeah. I mean, at least with the PPT, I mean, they're going to televise it. I don't know if the Tournament of Champions is going to
I mean, unless the
Maybe it is.
exemptions are based on like, you know, your World Series history.
Right.
You know, anybody with a World Series bracelet gets in.
Raise.
Well, C3's going to raise here. He's got pocket 10s. Now, Pascal's got ace-queen off suit. C4 calls with pocket 3s. Let's see how Pascal plays it. Now, I got to be honest with you. I have laid that hand down before at early position raisers, Dave, especially online.
Which hand are you talking about?
Ace-queen off suit.
Oh, ace queen off
Yeah.
suit. We talk about it in no limit. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it has the same problems in limit hold'em too.
Right.
I mean, you can be badly dominated.
It doesn't really play well like multi-way, you know. It's just...
Well, how about a top set of 10s for Harold?
That's nice. No one has clubs either, really. Unless Pascal sticks around here for backdoor clubs. Now look at Rudy call with pocket threes, Dave. It's
Sure to
just.
throw it in the camera.
I mean, if you're going to play that, you have to raise, don't you?
Yeah, well,
I mean, you're vulnerable
you're
to
almost
so many cards.
You're almost hoping Harold's betting with like ace queen or
But you
ace
got to
king.
raise to try to drive an 8 or a 5 out too,
Yeah.
right? I mean, turn to 9.
Well, that gives some draws. Stefan is now open-ended.
Never seen that episode.
And if a queen were to hit, he would have the top end of it.
Never seen.
Well, Harold continues to bet. I'm actually a little bit impressed by the way that people have bet their hands in this game. I haven't seen a super amount of slow playing tonight. Call here. What is Scott doing in there with 4-7? He's got the
Bottom end of the open. He needs a 6.
And the river is a 6. Unbelievable. And he bets. Oh, that's just so brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal for Harold.
I mean, he's got to turn it over now. And you got to say, the flop was 10-8-5, and I just lost to 4-7.
He didn't have no, he had a gut shot to the 6 the whole way. Right? Yeah, he did.
Gosh. I mean, it almost makes you sick, though, if you have a set of 10s there, huh?
Well, anytime you lose when you flop top 7 hurts. I mean, those are the worst.
You know,
beats
if
I've
I lose to clubs, though, if I lose to, like, say, Jack 9, the guy's open-ended, but I lost to a gut shot the whole way?
Again, you can usually take off if the pot was raised one small bet on the flop for a gut shot. But once it gets to the round when it's a big bet, Dave, you probably...
Well, because there's also, if you think about it, there's also implied odds, obviously.
You
Where
can
you're
check
then,
raise on
you
the
can
turn,
check
yeah.
raise, and then you can also get that bet on the river.
Right. But on the turn,
Oh, it's just painful, though. Flop top set, and you lose to a gut shot.
that was kind of like when that guy flopped a set of kings. I think the flop came king 8-9, and you check raised him with 6-4 spades with 1 spade on the board.
That was brutal. That was such a bad beat I gave that guy.
Dave had 6-4 in the blind, 6-4 suited. The flop came king 8-9. Dave check raised the guy because he wanted to make a play on him. The guy smooth called him. I think the turn was what, a 7?
The turn actually gave
you
me
a
an
spade
open-ended.
draw
And open-ended.
You bet he raised.
Because it was king 8-9, right? I had 6, and the turn was a 7 of spades.
Right. You
So
bet he raised.
And at that point, I knew the guy had ace king, so I wasn't scared of like the bottom end of the straight draw. I
And
bet
you
he.
made your straight at the
I
end.
bet he raised, and I
You
said,
made
"Oh,
the ass
shoot."
end of the straight at the end.
No, I made the flush.
Oh, you made it.
I actually made the flush and the
Oh.
straight. The 10 of the spades came in the river.
5-way action here. Jack 10-4. Razor is in seat number 1. Allen with ace queen.
Eric's open-ended though.
Allen's going to bet with ace queen. He raised it under the gun. Eric calls. Owen calls. Again, Owen calls with pocket 8s, Dave. It's just like... Turns another jack. And
Well,
Stefan
pocket
calls with
8s?
pocket 6s.
Pocket 8s are the best hand though, aren't they?
Looks that way.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but with all those people behind you, I don't see how you get involved. Or if you think you have the best hand, you raise. Now, the river's a king. And now Allen makes the nut straight, and he's going to bet. And Owen calls. Now he calls with pocket 8s. What can you beat? What can you beat? I mean, literally, Jack 10, Jack King. I mean, there's nothing you can beat, right? Because any of those other cards that miss the pairs has got a straight.
I know, but Owen is a god at this table. He owns this table. And it was funny, actually. You know, it's always funny. People always remember the bad beats they get and never remember the bad beats they give. And obviously, I remember that bad beat I gave that player. And it was funny because I made the move against a pretty. You remember it? I made the play against a pretty predictable player. And I thought the guy might have missed the flop. It was heads up. And I thought the guy might have missed the flop. Maybe he had, ace queen or ace jack or something like that. And I thought I could take it away from him. Obviously, I was very wrong. And then I got very lucky. But hey, you know what? Everybody gets lucky once in a while.
I don't think that you would pull that move on me, Dave, because I just
Actually,
bang it right down your throat.
You were the
again.
kind of player I would make the move against, to be honest with you. I mean, think about it. You raise with ace queen spade. You raise with ace queen. The flop comes out king blank blank, right? You bet, I check raise you, and then I bet on the turn.
Remember, and then I call you, and now I raise you on the turn. And I'll remember that, regardless of what I have.
Right, next time I'll have a king, though. Next time I'll have the king.
Got a raise here by Harold. He's got king, queen off suit.
But you know what I mean in the
Wow,
sense
Allen's going to call with 4-8
of offsuit.
off suit.
Wow.
In the big blind.
Good plays.
Ace 5-7. Allen's got a straight draw.
He's got the gut shot.
This would be a perfect time to check raise for Allen, but he just check calls. 3 comes here on the turn.
I mean, that's kind of what I was like. I mean, you raise, you represent, but the other
And
guy's
now he's
trying
just
to
going to
represent.
keep calling, though, Dave. Again, another time to make a check raise on the turn. His
Exactly.
third diamond? Get the guy off his hand if he doesn't have an ace, and now he's going to call. Oh, Allen just sort of folds here on the river.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I mean, you're actually the player that I would make the move against.
Ah.
You know, somebody who's a good enough player that's paying attention.
Now we get an email here from Abraham. He says, I just want to say one thing. Since I've been watching this program, I've had no interest to watch any poker on TV. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much for those comments, Abraham.
Right.
Very nice.
We got a raise out of seat 6. He's got ace 9 offsuit. That's Eric.
Yeah.
And Owen just calls with pocket 10s, and Harold calls with pocket 9s. And there's a set of 10s there for Owen. Not a bad flop for 9s, though. Only one overcard, plus he's got a gut shot.
Raise.
If you're Harold, do you maybe throw a little raise in there?
So Owen's got top set again. Oh, excuse me, Owen's got top set this time.
Wow, and Harold just throws it away.
Huh?
2 flames.
And Eric's going to call with a gut shot.
Right,
and
lay
an
down.
overcard.
Turns an ace.
That might get Eric in trouble.
Then I don't have to worry about it.
I was going to say pocket 9s are almost strong enough to raise there.
Yeah.
You know, you got a gut shot and there's only one overcard.
Check call here by Eric. The river's a queen.
And it's a diamond.
Ouch.
Wow.
Now, if this were no limit, you might be able to represent and take
Right.
it away. But in limit, obviously, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Played up a straight and a flush draw.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
No.
Thank you.
And look at that. Owen continues to stack up his chips. Unbelievable. Button moves over here to Allen in seat 1.
Thank you for your continued emails. Thank you, Patton Wilson. Appreciate it. Couple of suited aces in there. Plus, we got a suited king. Unfortunately for John, it's the same suit as the ace, though.
3, 5, 6. Looks like Harold's picked up top and bottom. Now, Allen, he's flopped. Well, he's got a straight draw and middle pair.
Baby, go.
And Harold just calls, Dave. I mean, don't you think you would check raise or bet out on the flop here?
Score again?
You just check raises.
5 flames.
41, 41 now. It's like 5 or 6 minutes left.
King on the turn there. John has now made 2 pair. And look at that. 2 pair over 2 pair. And John got lucky to turn there, and he is going to take this one down.
Best offense.
A bad beat for Harold because they actually were sharing a 3. A 3 would not have helped John.
Raise.
But a king obviously does help him. And John's going to take this one down.
What's the spread on this? You know?
4.
4, Indiana.
And John actually raises him on the river.
They were up by a lot more than 4.
And he shows it down and takes it down there. And Harold
Waiting
calls.
a long time for this.
Yes, they have.
10 of spades doesn't look like a very scary card. What are you doing with your mic there? You can't
Well,
tell.
I heard that some of the people were talking about the game, so that's why you heard me cough on the
Oh,
table.
I
I
was
was trying
wondering.
to block it out of my ears.
I
but
got you, okay.
Apparently, they were telling me that they're still talking about it at the table.
I can't hear him. I think that's because I'm deaf. I actually do. I have a hearing loss in both ears.
So I'm actually gonna try to continue the show like this.
Are you
serious? Yeah, why not? Difference doesn't make.
I don't know.
It's gonna be your chance to do the play-by-play, man. Go for it.
I don't want that shit.
Raise.
Ooh, I can see pocket queens in seat 8.
And Alan's going to call him with ace-5 spades here.
Yeah.
That's one of those hands I don't really like to open call raises with ace small suited.
Yeah.
Ace rag
it's
suited.
tough. Too easy to be dominated, right?
Yeah. I mean, what am I drawing to? A 5? I basically have 3 outs except for spades.
Well, here comes spades. Jack 8-7 here on the flop. Scott's going to bet.
Now, this is one of those times I might raise this to try to get a free card. But it's not going to work because Scott's got queens.
It looked like it.
And sure enough, Alan raised him to get a free card.
I think Scott 3-bet, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Scott 3-bet.
Let's see the turn. The turn's a 4. Now Alan's picked up a straight draw as well. So here we go to the river.
He needs a 6 or a spade or an ace.
Or an ace. Turn, and the river's a 10. It does not come.
Why do you check that?
Well,
Scared of the 9?
you could induce a bluff, Dave.
I suppose. Guy misses, okay.
The other thing, too, is that, well, it's almost like if he's got 2 pairs there, he's still not going to bet because of the 9. I mean, some people would.
Right.
It depends on the player, but, I mean, it's obviously not no limit. I mean, you're more often probably apt to check that or throw a defensive bet in on the river in a no-limit game than a limit. Because remember, you're only going to lose 1 extra limit bet.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, though, my opponent might be calling me with spades, but he might also be calling me with king-jack. Or even ace-jack. And if he is, well, I want to get paid off.
We have time for a couple more hands here.
Because I'm certainly going to call a bet if I check him.
Right.
Obviously, there is an argument you can make for him checking and inducing a bluff, like you said.
3 points.
Well, the button is over there in seat 3. King deuce 6 here on the flop. Look like it got limped around.
What happened to the stink? Did he get vetoed off the show? Up to 2+2?
I think that somebody actually, at my request, emailed the moderator, and he was silent for the rest of the show. And I appreciate that person, who I know who it is, and he knows who it is too. Although, like I said, I'm struggling right now to try to make it throughout the rest of the show without hearing the score. Look at this. Kev Math on 2+2 writes that the Tournament of Champions will be televised on ESPN Christmas Eve. Pepsi put up $2 million for the free roll and requested the sponsor exemptions, Chan, Brunson, and Helmuth. So there you go.
Well, okay. Hey.
I mean, if the sponsor does it, I mean, you
Of
got to.
course, right. Well, they're putting the money up.
Yeah. Pocket King's there for seat 8. He raises
down.
and takes it down.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if they're putting the money up, it's their party, and it's your party. You can invite anybody you want to. The only thing I'm upset about is, Pepsi sponsors us. Why weren't we invited?
Well, the only thing, it actually reminds me of the time when we had the media event to try to get satellites into the Legends main event. And it was our gig, so our producer, Evelyn, got us into the thing. But, of course, all 3 of us crashed and burned.
Yeah.
That was when Simon Trumper made the final table, and none of us had a good showing in that. We had 3 of us.
I want to last longer between
48 people, I think. And most of them was all dead money.
Yeah.
All media people. Media people.
It was
Give me a break.
pretty uneventful showing for the 3 of us.
Yeah.
But I did win the last longer against you and Shirley.
That's true. I paid you off in 25-cent chips. Multi-way action here again. Limped around.
Jack 8-6 here. Rainbow. I don't think anybody's hit anything. No, nobody has. Well, there's a 10. Eric's now got a pair of 10s with an ace kicker. Couple of straight draws now. And Alan's in there with 5-9. Alan actually called on the turn with 5-9.
Wow, and the river is an 8.
I mean, is there enough money to take one off on the turn for a gut shot?
Well, he's open-ended with the 9, right? 8, 9, 10, Jack.
Okay, is there enough money to take one off on the open-ended?
Well,
I mean, might you just raise that instead of...
Well, it looks like
you check the flop, so no money win on the flop, and then somebody bets the turn, and now you're going to smooth call and hope you hit your hand with one card to go.
I know what you mean. This is going to be the last hand of the night. We want to thank everyone for joining us.
Button is in seat 6. Once again, even watching live at the bike. You can watch us every Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. Sometimes it's Bart and me. Sometimes it's Bart and Shirley. And once in a blue moon, it's me and Shirley.
Yes, once in a blue moon.
Yes.
Donna.
So maybe we can get Denny in here at some point, too.
I'm hoping to do some work with Denny.
I'm sure Baron Vanger Toth on 2+2 will have something to say about that. We've got three-way action here to finish off the night.
Ace, Queen, 7. Couple of diamonds out there. John's got the best hand with Queen. Nobody's got an ace. But Rudy's going to bet with the gut shot straight draw and a backdoor diamond flush. And John's going to call.
And the turn is a queen, and there's trips there for John.
I check again.
And it goes check, check, David. Look at this king-jack backs into a straight. Wow.
And he checks it down.
What a river. Unbelievable.
Well, yeah, a 10 and only a 10 would have won it for him. Well, that's going to do it, huh?
Yeah, it's safe for me to put these things back on. That's going
Safe
to do
to
it
come
for us
out.
tonight. We want to thank everyone for joining us.
Yeah, I want to thank you.
Got a
Mark.
lot of emails, responses. Hopefully, I'll have good news for my TiVo party when I go home. I don't really know yet, so I don't even want to look at Dave's facial expression. I'm sure he's...
I have no idea. I
Anyways.
seriously have no idea.
So join us tomorrow night. We'll probably be doing a 200 no limit, I would imagine.
Probably.
And hopefully we can get this game on more often because 8/16s, it seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, no.
Lot
Limit
of
Hold'em
action.
is a whole different game, and it's a lot of fun.
I will be back with Shirley Rosario, the poker babe. So for everyone here in the booth, and for David Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.